Fuck off.
Danzig.
Welcome to the Dead Air Horror and Genre Podcast.
Mr. Pop.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Dead Air Horror and Genre Podcast. I'm Jeff Konopka, and tonight I'm joined by a whole bunch of horny motherfuckers. We'll start with the one and only Mr. Jesse Bartell.
Bro.
In his best Jamaican gangster. We've also got Chad Young, who we shamed into coming on the podcast tonight.
Yo, drop that zero and give it a hero.
And in a surprising turn of events, we have two other gentlemen with us that you haven't heard from in a while. We have the one and only Mr. Dr. Terror himself, the man with the plan and the giant cock that he's going to stick in your mouth, Mr. James Harris.
We've come for your daughter, Chuck.
And we also have that Randy motherfucker who stole your wallet, went to the weed spot, grabbed a whole bunch of that ganja, and took your girlfriend.
I knew it.
Mr. Sean Savage.
That's Randy Savage, thank you.
That Randy motherfucking Savage.
Bone saw.
Randy Quaid Savage.
So essentially, we have the full crew here for the first time in since January? I think
It's been a minute.
it's been a while. In the immortal words of Sting. So we're here tonight, and we're going to talk all about the latest movie that is from the directing duo of Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. It's available on VOD and in limited theatrical play right now, and that is called Spring. So we're going to talk about that, but of course, if you're listening for the first time, what we do is sit here. Usually we broadcast live on Friday nights around 9:30-ish, give or take a few minutes, depending on whose child will not go to bed. And
I don't have children. It's fine.
yeah, you just have cocaine and hookers.
Mm-hmm. Get out of my room.
Jesse's life is all just blow and hookers. That's all it has. Blow, hookers, and podcasting. And Nicolas Cage.
Uh-huh.
And
Those are the
Nickelback.
things you need.
No.
We usually broadcast live, and you can find that every Friday around 9:30. Just go to deadairpodcast.net/live, and if you want to find all of our other episodes that are up in our iTunes feed and up on our podcast host, you can just go to deadairpodcast.net. And if you are an iTunes listener, make sure that you subscribe to us, leave us a review. Positive one would be great. That helps us out a lot. And so all that stuff is up there. So I guess, like I said, we're just going to do a little bit of house cleaning here. It's been a while since we've all been together. I know that Sean and James have been pretty busy recently, so we managed to sneak some time in there. And James has been busy being important on the internet, apparently, because you're up for a major award, aren't you, Mr. Harris?
I think they're going to give me some kind of a leg lamp.
A leg lamp?
I've asked for a leg lamp. I said make sure it's imported from Italy.
Fragile?
But, yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, some motherfucker nominated me for a Rondo, or I got nominated or put on that list. So
their list.
Their list. I don't know how that. We were just talking about this. I don't know how that actually happens. I imagine that you just get nominated, and then, or somebody notices, hey, this motherfucker needs to be on there, and they just do it, and they put you on the list, and then maybe people vote for you, and maybe you get on the list again. But
Or you're paying them off. Bum bum bum.
Well, I would definitely pay them off, but it would have to be in sexual favors only.
Sure.
That's only the moral thing to do. But I'm really happy that they did it. I vote in those things every year. I'm not one of the people that doesn't like them. I just kind of vote in them every year, and I think they're fun. And I always nominate a bunch of people for write-in stuff. And
Do
they
people
always say,
not like
"Thanks for
them?
actually." No, people kind of discard it, and they kind of say, it doesn't fucking matter. Well, it doesn't fucking matter, but it's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
People like to do that with award shows, I guess.
Yeah, I watch award shows. I don't even watch the movies that are on the award shows. So it doesn't, I don't think that it necessarily matters as long as there's, it matters to you, and I think it's kind of fun. So hey, I'm all about it. So go on over there and fucking vote for Doc Terror.
First off, congratulations. We've been whoring it out on the show for the last few weeks since we found out. So we've been telling people to vote for you, and if you haven't voted on that, you can just go to, I think it's rondoaward.com. And then you can go through the archaic clicking links because I think that dude still has an AOL email address.
Good for him.
So he's one of the diehard true survivors.
Jeff, do you think we could get him in a phishing scam? Do you think we could tell him that we need his password, that we're an AOL,
I'm a prince from
admin?
Nigeria, and I need money.
What we need is a punter. You remember punters on AOL?
Mm-hmm.
What are punters? What's that?
Where someone
Punters
would
were these
kick you out of
things- Yeah, you could kick people off of the internet, off of AOL entirely for like a
Wow.
short period of time.
So yeah, I remember that because once upon a time when the internet was brand new, one of my friends had the internet, and I didn't have the internet back then, and he had AOL, and used to go in the chat rooms and hang out. And he was like, "Yo, I like to go." It's now called trolling, but we used to just basically harass people. And so we went into this room that was like new mothers or new parents. In the chat room.
No.
And we go in and we're talking. All these people are talking about their babies, and we were just like, "Yeah, my baby died." And they were all like, "Oh my God, we're so sorry." And they're like, "That's why I go to the mall and I steal other people's children and bring them home." And we got punted. So that is a thing.
Those Prodigy hangouts, though. My brother one time came over and he was like, "Dude, I'll buy you like a wrestling pay-per-view if you go in the gay chat room and just start screaming faggot at everyone." I was like, "I'm not doing that." And he was like, "Come on, it'll be a free wrestling pay-per-view." I'm like, "Yeah?"
The price of your dignity.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad about it now, but come on. I've got a story, and I got a free WrestleMania out of it.
Which WrestleMania was it?
Was it 13?
Was it good? I actually stopped watching it at like 10. For a
There was
while.
only one good match on it, and it was not worth calling people a very disgusting term.
Remember when Liberace was at the first WrestleMania?
He had a bell.
Yeah.
So anyhow, congratulations, James. Go vote for him, rondoaward.com. And while you're there, there's also a podcast category, multimedia. Just write us in.
Yeah.
We'll give
Do
you a
it.
hand job.
Yeah, we will for sure.
I'll send you an autographed photo of me.
If you're against writing in people, then you can always vote for Killer POV. But I think you should write us in just to be dicks, because that's awesome. So you can go ahead and do that if you want. And so congrats, James. And you've been busy with other things too, right? You guys are having another tiny Dr. Terror.
There's a mini little female me coming out in like a month and a half, and I had to fix up the house a little bit for that, and that took some time. And in the process, I lost my podcasting space, and it got too cold to do it in the basement. So now it's warm enough, so I can thaw out and I can hibernate.
He is down in the basement, and we could tell because he had his camera on earlier, and it just looked like some scary ass shit.
It was like
Oh,
it was like the movie from 8mm. It was like he had the guy with the mask on was like cutting the girl's throat. Peter Stormare shows up.
Oh no, not again.
Yeah.
I literally had my hand in my pants for 5 minutes, and then they're like, "Hey James, we think your camera's on," and I was like, "No. And I was like, "Look, there's nothing." Oh, it was there.
That's alright, we couldn't see anything though.
That's not that big. It's not that big. You would say it.
He's being modest. He
Yeah,
thinks
being
that 18
modest.
inches is not that big.
So welcome back, James, and congratulations on everything there. And also, Sean is here, so that's awesome as well.
Woo!
Not sure what Sean's been doing.
Nothing.
People. Drugs.
Look,
the screeners,
raping
though.
your bong is not nothing.
Well, yeah. That and Grand Theft Auto. That's about it.
Yeah, we know that because as one of our listeners, Dylan, who's actually very excited in the Q&A right now.
Dylan!
Bro.
He was like, we were joking one time because we were like, I don't know where Sean Savage is, and I was like, he's probably playing GTA 5. And Dylan's like, yeah, actually, he just posted pictures on Facebook of it. So, hi Dylan, we see you.
What's
How
up?
you doing? And if you don't know what we're talking about, we have a little Q&A app there. I don't know, for people listening on YouTube, I don't think you can use it, but I think if you're on Google Plus and actually listening through there, there's a little thing that says Q&A, or it's either there or it's up in the top corner of the little app thing, and you can click on it and open the Q&A, and you can actually type questions to us or things that you want us to talk about, or just make comments, or call us racial slurs, whatever you want to do. It's really up to
This is
you.
America.
I'll
It
pay
is
for your
America.
WrestleMania if you call us racial slurs.
Yeah, if you put things that are offensive, then we probably won't talk about them. But if they're
No,
just
probably
normal
not.
offensive, then
That's
it's
fine.
cool.
Yeah.
And if you ask Jesse how big his cock is, he will tell you.
About
24-inch pythons.
6. Yeah. It's moderately average.
So that is there, and yeah. Other than that, I mean, you know, I still need to get to do some editing, and I think that's going to happen pretty soon. I'm going to do that this weekend to get some, because at this point I have so many episodes banked, it's ridiculous because we just keep going with the live shows, and I have not edited anything all month since that last episode that went up. So I think at this point I've probably got like a good 9 or 10 episodes that I could put out there. So.
All the bandwidth.
So those will be, I'll be working on those over the next few days, working on at least some of them so that I can eat up some of the storage space that I have left for the month. And I might put up some of our old episodes. So, and when I say old, I mean like ancient fucking history episodes, like
August.
the dark days. Remember those days, Sean? No, these are even older than that. Sean probably remembers the dark days.
Wait, what?
The dark days of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Confusing, Sean.
The days that shall not be named.
No, I
Certain
had a
people.
child going wild upstairs, so it's distracted.
Children Gone Wild.
Children going wild.
Sean,
no.
we know we know that you're trying to like make some money, but that's probably not the best.
Yeah.
Spring break.
way. Forever. But anyway, so those will probably be coming up, and like I said, you can find that stuff just deadairpodcast.net. And, iTunes, actually, just deadairpodcast.net/iTunes is the best way to go about that. And I think I'm gonna make a Twitter handle just for the show pretty soon. Then I'll have to find someone to run it.
The name. That's what happened with Horror Sexy. Somebody has it and just isn't using it or something.
Oh, somebody definitely has the name. I'll have to come up with something else that's similar. And I think I'm going to change my Twitter handle, but...
You could be Dr. Dead Air.
I could.
Dr. Dead Air Sexy.
I was going to say Dead Air Horror Sexy Podcast Guy.
Dead Sexy Air.
And that will work. So yeah, it's awesome. It's great to have everybody here and to have everybody together for once in a long fucking time. So hopefully we'll get more of these shows where we got people. And kind of going back to our discussion from last week, just looking ahead, in case anybody's wondering, we will be reviewing It Follows, but we're going to do it next week because, quite frankly, we had no idea how this whole thing was going to play out last week because as of last week, it was still, this movie was in like a few theaters, maybe like, 30 or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And there was rumors that we talked about the movie going wide. And then it was like literally people were like, no, this movie's not going to go wide. There's no way they're going to get theater space. Everything's taken up because of Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart and other stuff. And apparently,
That's funny.
well, apparently they didn't consider the fact that animated movie with the alien and the cat,
Yeah.
they could just kick that movie out of the theater and
Mhm.
put another movie in because that's what a lot of places seem to have done is reduce that one down to like one showing a day. But yeah, so It Follows rolled out onto like 1,200 screens, I think, this week. So it's out there, and we are going to review it. I think at this point almost all of us have seen it. I know Chad didn't because he's a loser.
Yeah. I was watching grown men touch each other.
He was. He's not even joking.
No,
I
I'm
haven't
not.
watched it yet either.
Well, Sean hasn't seen it, but he can see it, and he's going to see it, right?
He's
Right.
just high.
I haven't decided if I want to watch the screener or go to the theater.
I would say to go to the theater.
I would too. After watching the screener, you get to stare at your name for an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
so
checked that out.
there you go. And actually, I watched it on my TV, and I piped in the link through my TV, and it actually looked great. And I was like, wow, this is really awesome. And then by the end of it, I was like, oh, I know exactly what code they had me at, and
But
Yeah.
besides that fact, and I'm not going to get into opinions on it just because I want to save that for when we have an actual discussion after everybody's seen it, but it is a movie that is really good to see with a crowd because it's just one of those movies. Plus, support horror, box office, independent films, things like that. They do make a difference. And, right now we got two of them that I think people should check out. I think people should check out Spring, which we're going to talk about tonight, and I think people should go to the theater and see It Follows. And you're not all going to probably like it, and some of you will be angry and say that it's overrated, but that's just a given. That's almost always going to happen with any movie. But really, if people don't support this one and they rolled it out wide and they decide that it was for no reason, guess what? That's not going to happen next time. So
people need to stop using this term overrated. It's
That's-
overhyped. The problem isn't being overhyped. It may be rated just fine, but you got yourself hyped up so much. It's like a fucking virgin with, like, I don't know, who's got Sasha Grey in front of you. It's
Alright.
like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
All right.
yeah, I could definitely see that, but it's just one of those things where anything when it starts to get popular enough, you're probably gonna hear enough stuff about it, and then people are gonna put this expectation where when it's not the perfect fucking movie and the best thing that they've ever seen, then they're just gonna be like, fuck it, I don't like this, and I'm gonna trash it. And it's like,
Horror cinema is not a Not a Surf song.
Sure.
Classy.
And I think it's Eddie Spaghetti. who's
Yeah.
under Here Lies is saying scares times 10. Wear your diapers while watching it. So
We love Eddie.
I could go for that.
Yeah.
Get
I
it?
could
Hall
go for
Notes?
some spaghetti.
Spaghetti sounds awesome right now too. That would be great. But again, I'm not going to get into thoughts really on the movie other than I will say I liked it. So I'm going to say that I think people should see it for two reasons, because I liked it, but even if I didn't like it, I would still tell you to go see it, just because I think that people should see it and make up their own fucking mind. And
It is nice to hear people like saying good things about. I feel like I've only heard good things about this movie, and maybe it's just the
Well-
circle of people that I surround myself with. But it is nice to hear people actually liking a movie.
Well, it is that, but it's also that it hasn't been out long enough where enough people have seen it to start having the haters come out, right? And they're the people who are just going to either be
Fair
trolling
point.
just to troll, or they're just going to be people who are just... And a bunch of them will probably not actually see it, but then they're going to talk shit about it. It's the same thing that happened with the Babadook, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be the same kind of backlash, I think. Because, quite frankly, there's... This is definitely more of a horror movie than the Babadook is. But I think the Babadook it has some scares and stuff, but this is definitely more of an outright horror movie. But the only other thing that I'll say about it is just that fucking score is fucking amazing for It Follows, and just check it out if you can. I think you can purchase it now on iTunes, and
Yeah.
I think there's vinyl coming, right? James would know that, right?
I ordered it, and I think it's from Meridian. I could look that up, but yeah, it's out there. If you just Google it up, you'll find it. If it isn't sold out, I think it was limited.
Oh, was it? I just saw a picture of it, but I don't have a turntable, so.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it through it. I thought it was Meridian. It was a weird site. It wasn't one of the normal Death Waltz or One Way Static or any of those guys.
Yeah, but it's a killer soundtrack. It's actually done by what the fuck was it? Jesus. Can't remember
Jesus
that.
did it.
No, it's the dude who
Disaster
did
piece.
Yeah, Disaster Piece, and they
He's
did.
like, how about that Bible? Here's this sick ass beat.
Well, it's either a dude or like multiple people, but they do video game music most of the time. So you remember that game? Jesse knows that game Fez, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
same.
Oh, that's the same guy. Oh yeah, he's great. Yeah, that Fez soundtrack's awesome.
But the soundtrack for It Follows is kind of like if John Carpenter was to kind of score a more modern movie and use like 80s video game music type stuff with it.
Yeah. I mean, the Fez stuff is yeah.
And that's another reason to see it in the theater, because you want to see it somewhere where that shit is fucking loud. Because that soundtrack is great. So
It's MilanRecords.com. That's where you can go to try to find the vinyl if you want to try to pick it up. It comes with a digital download if you buy it, and it's like $23 for the record, and it comes out April 7th.
Chad, stop adding apps to the conversation.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure. I just got distracted and I started pressing them. I didn't know what they were doing.
Chad, once again, learning how to use the internet, folks.
Hey.
Everybody applaud him.
Hey, it says if I click here, Bill Gates is going to send me $1,000. Fuck you.
Jesse's a Nigerian prince, Chad.
That's right.
Yeah. He's my boyfriend on
I go for the
Prodigy
lady.
chat room. That sounded more Jamaican.
Yeah, you know. I don't know. I'm a Jamaican princess. I mean prince.
And Jesse is
no.
not raging like he was last week, though.
Yeah, he was really pissy.
Was I
Not
pissy?
but you were pissed off.
What
No,
about-
Jesse was just wasted last week.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. Yeah. But I can get wasted again. I mean, I can easily accomplish that.
And apparently that's not Eddie Spaghetti, because he's over at John Saxon's helping find his rug glue.
He loves him some John Saxon, though.
And he
Watching
also
some Cannibal Apocalypse.
he also says that the Babadook didn't quite live up to the book. It's much better. Well played, sir. Well played. So, so that's all I got to say about that. I mean, go check out the movie, make up your mind. We're gonna talk about it next week in depth, and there's definitely gonna be a fair amount of discussion. But I liked it, so if you're on the fence about it, I think it's worth your time and your money and your effort. So it's one of those things that support horror. Fuck, we went to see Ouija.
Yeah.
So.
Opening night.
It did happen. I didn't go opening night.
I
You know what I did? You went Thursday night though, because you were committed.
I was so committed to the podcast.
Not to the podcast. You just went anyway.
Yeah, I was like, man, this is gonna be my movie of the year. I'm gonna love this shit. I'm like, oh yeah, all these white people running around being scared. Yeah.
Everyone's got A's and shit. I haven't even seen Ouija, but is it really any different than the Witchboard movie?
No, those are kind of good. I guess.
I was gonna say it's infinitely more entertaining the Witchboard movies are, because Ouija is just one of those things that, again, I think it's what we said is it's not really terrible. It's just there's no point to it, and it's not for us, right? If we were 13-year-old girls, then it might be for us.
Well, sometimes I like to be on different chat rooms.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be a 13-year-old girl.
Depends on who Jesse is talking
I'm just
to.
saying if we're doing cam to cam.
He's talking to the principal from Ferris Bueller.
Oh, gross.
Oh no!
And of course, Dylan is bringing up juggalos again.
Oh no! Dylan, we are gonna fuck you up one day.
Apparently, Jesse was chilling with Lowe's getting fucked up.
I was at the drug bridge, man, at the gathering.
Yeah, we need to not talk about juggalos this week, because last
fuck, we
weekend,
already have.
after we finished the podcast,
You fell down a rabbit hole.
I got pretty drunk, and I started Googling juggalo freestyles. And let me just tell you, you don't really want to watch those videos, because at first they're...
No, I know
they're
that. You don't have to tell me that.
But they're kind of funny at first. And by kind of, I mean really funny at first. But then as you just continue to get drunk and you keep clicking on the related videos, you eventually end up with just giant fat girls in the kitchen talking about bowel movements.
And you're buying,
man.
you're buying their albums, and it's just bad news.
You know what they remind me of? It's just like a bad Tim and Eric sketch or something.
Kinda, yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
I still have a hard time believing that these guys are real, but they are.
They're stranger than fiction.
And,
Oh, you
and
went
Eddie
there.
actually is saying he was hoping to hear the Ouija song by Morrissey, but no. But we did play that on the podcast. I put it in there because
Yeah.
I like, the Smiths and Morrissey.
You gotta love Morrissey.
And we are not talking about magnets and how they work. That's not happening.
Can I go on a rant for a moment?
Yes. What is it? What do you have to get off your chest besides?
You know what? This has just been bothering me for a long time. I gotta get it off my chest because it was just brought up. I don't like Morrissey, but I love the Smiths. Isn't that weird?
Not really. I mean, his solo stuff is pretty. It's different enough that you could not like it if you liked one and the other. I don't know. I don't
It's
really.
super different.
It's like how I don't like David Cross, but I enjoyed Mr. Show.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But
That's
you know
because
what?
Bob Odenkirk, though.
Bob rules, dude. He's a universal treasure. He's not just a national treasure. He's a fucking universal treasure. And that's not a copyright by Universal, because they can suck my dick. And where the hell is James and Sean? Why aren't they talking?
I was actually waiting to agree with you, actually, about the Morrissey issue. I do not generally like Morrissey solo stuff, but I can sing and have at least felt like most of the Smiths' music. I have looked for a job, and I have found a job, and I have been miserable.
Mm.
There you go.
Like that one song he does?
William, it really was nothing, There's a light. I think I had a threesome to that song that never goes out. I think maybe that was that one. Maybe that happened. It was either that. It was Golden Lights. That was it. Sorry, no, Golden Lights.
Every time I think of Morrissey, I just remember this one song he did where he just goes, "I'm so sorry." Like I'm just like, oh my gosh, it thumbs him up.
Welcome to the Smiths podcast, ladies.
He's got
this is the Moz podcast.
But he's got like cancer or something now, and it's like.
Oh, does he?
He's like sick or something. Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean that sucks.
Yeah.
It really does.
He is
wish
super
that on
old.
He is.
You'll never forget.
I saw him a couple years ago, and he was very weird because he kind of looks like a fat old Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, he
up
does.
on the stage,
or like Chris Isaac or something.
And some guy bum rushed the stage and got up there, and he tried to hug Morrissey, and it was the most awkward thing I've ever seen.
Did he hug him back?
Security dudes just ripped him off and dragged him away.
You can't touch Morrissey because your limbs explode.
Isn't that scripted though? Doesn't that happen at every show? Somebody runs up on stage and then security rips them away.
I don't know.
I did that at a New Kid Is on the Block concert last week.
Jordan Knight!
This was weird because it was at a college.
Somebody's phone just vibrated.
That was my pants. It's the steam from my shorts.
That was your dildo.
That was my compressed shorts going off.
So,
Hi, Sean.
anyway, enough.
Jeff? Did we lose Jeff?
I'm still here.
Oh, you're still here.
Cut
Okay.
out there for a minute.
Yeah, you cut out there for a minute.
Yeah, the internet is not being happy tonight, so I apologize to
The internet's
anybody.
never happy.
No, the internet is super angry tonight because what's happening even on my end is it'll just occasionally hang up and then I just won't hear anything for a few seconds. So I will probably have some editing to do on this particular episode up into the feed, but that's okay. It's all good. This is live radio. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Chad might show you his dick.
Again.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't see that earlier though because we weren't broadcasting yet.
Not yet. They will. They will.
The sexy nipple rubs.
Damn.
That happened too. That was a thing.
Hey, has anybody watched this Dead Rising movie on Crackle?
I heard it's terrible,
Was
but I mean, how could it
Fuck
be?
is Crackle.
It's like a movie streaming service or something.
Alright, cool.
Ryan Nicholson did the special effects. I just wanted to check it out.
Yeah, I haven't really heard anything positive about it. I have no interest, honestly.
Ouch. Jesse's hardcore.
That's
tonight.
right.
Yeah.
Fuck your movie.
Fuck your couch.
Yeah, fuck your
I
couch.
heard your movie was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch your movie.
I don't want to see that shit.
Your movie can kiss my ass.
I mean, but what is a Dead Rising? Like, I guess I should watch it, but like, what is a Dead Rising movie? Like, what? You just what? What is it? It's just a zombie movie that what they like attach a chainsaw to a fucking baseball bat. Like, oh, it's just like the game. Like,
Yeah, Jesse, but if it's zombies in a mall, then it's obviously something new.
fucking movie.
What I want to know is, do they have to go to the bathroom a bunch? Because
Yeah,
that's
they
pretty much
gotta-
the first game. You
Well,
know?
they have to keep making their daughter not sick by giving her
Yeah, right.
the zombie stuff, and then
Nice.
Yep, and then you gotta save the people, but they're really slow, and then they get killed. Yeah, like what would be a Dead Rising movie? Like it would just be a generic zombie movie, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Dead Rising is a fun game because it's a really hard game to play and it's challenging and it's more about the mechanics and not about like the fucking storyline. Like, good God.
Taking pictures. Isn't that the one where you just run around and take pictures?
Yeah, well, in the
That's
first one,
something,
yeah.
yeah.
First one.
They also like,
You got-
mix drinks and stuff.
You got PP points for doing that. PP.
Ah.
Yeah.
Pee-pee?
Mature
Yeah, you got
adult.
PP. It's very Japanese, but how's
fun.
everybody doing tonight?
Yeah.
Horny.
Mm.
Vidya games.
Video games.
I don't know. I'm
Wrestling.
doing alright. It's been this week at work was ridiculous, and then I found out that they're restructuring our whole department. So I don't
Yes.
know what's going to be happening because like apparently they're moving us to like 24/7 coverage type stuff.
Oh God.
So there's probably going to be like a night shift at some point, and I'm just hoping I don't get stuck on it. But essentially, within a few months or so, I'm probably going to have a new manager and different stuff, and you know, it's just been really annoying trying to figure out all that shit and figure out time to podcast and watch movies. But it's getting there.
I feel you.
Work, man. Don't do it unless you have to. That's my
dumb.
opinion. It is dumb. Got to pay the bills though. So
Nah.
without the bills, I can't have internet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Not the internet. You can have porn. So like, what's the point?
You can go to the library though.
That's true. You can stream it at the library.
It's just not the same though when some 80-year-old woman is sitting next to you.
Mm-hmm. And she's looking at
Actually,
pictures of her
depending
dead
on who
friends.
you are, that might actually be a more interesting or what do you
Seems
call
like
it?
a James DeGru thing.
I'll let your boy James DeGru.
He's coming over tomorrow, actually. So
Oh, is he? Nice.
yeah. So it'll probably anybody who is friends with me on Facebook will probably all of a sudden randomly see all sorts of weird old gangster rap videos getting posted. So
Bob gun.
oh, that's not gangster rap.
Bitch, you don't know shit about gangster rap until you've heard George Clinton and Ice Cube touch each other.
Well, that's the that's the Ice Cube one, but not the original. The original one's just the funk song.
Yeah. Sounds like a big old fart going off.
And yes, there are girls farting in It Follows. I was not joking.
Yo, those underwear scenes though.
For reals. So I don't know. You guys want to talk about movies? Should we talk about movies?
Let's
Movies.
talk about
Or does
screamers.
anybody else have any other random things that they want to talk about first?
I got a new record today from 1980. I got the Fat Albert Halloween album.
Did not.
I did. I got the Fat Albert Halloween album. I just hey.
What?
I got the album today. I just thought that was, something that I couldn't believe happened.
Poor Bill Cosby. He put that video up on the internet, and he's just like telling people that he was coming to their town or something to go perform.
And they're like, stay away from our women.
Nobody wants to see Bill Cosby anymore.
I know,
Hey.
he's a creepy rapist.
What's
Yeah, I
wrong
don't
with
know.
that?
I was gonna say you got at least 3 of them here on this conversation. For all of us, I'm sure.
That says therapist next to my name. Jeff.
One out of every 5 men is a rapist. You
Can we
guys,
talk about
rape is not funny.
since we have such a huge wrestling crowd that is joining us, can we talk about that WrestleMania?
All right, bye
deal?
guys.
We just lost Jesse.
Oh no,
Jesse.
Jesse just hung himself.
No, I came up with something, Jesse. You're gonna love this. All right, so you can eat meat, and do you like wings? Do you like hot wings?
I love chicken. Yeah.
All right, so instead of mud wrestling, for
Yeah.
WrestleMania 31, We're gonna get a whole bunch of buffalo sauce, and we're gonna go into a kiddie pool.
Right.
And we're,
Yeah.
and we're gonna wrestle, and we're gonna like lick each other off.
Yeah.
Oh my.
We're just like, oh
Get yourself a
man.
roll of paper towels.
Yo, damn.
Tampon.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a wet nap. The size of a human being. But yes, Chad, we do, in the interest of full disclosure, we do have several people that listen to this podcast, some of whom are probably listening now that
We're
do
sorry.
like wrestling. So I suppose that if you want to voice your opinions on the matter,
Yeah. I
You have
do.
2 minutes. Go.
Wrestling is fun. WrestleMania. That Nick Cage is going to be probably watching. And
Possibly, yeah.
okay, here I got a good anecdote. All right, you ready? You guys know who Andre the Giant is, right?
Yes, you do, yeah.
So my best friend.
exactly.
So my best friend one time asked me how Andre the Giant died, and I was like, "Yeah, he was at his mom's funeral." And he was like, "Yo, he was at his mom's funeral? I thought he just fell on top of his mom and he died. Like, how the fuck is that gonna happen? How the fuck is he gonna die just by falling on his mom?" He's like, "I don't know. Maybe she was a fat bitch too." The end. Wrestling. WrestleMania 31.
That's your
sponsored by the-
WrestleMania story?
I can't tell if. Yeah.
I'm giving you a
Okay.
forum to either complain or whatever it is, bust your nut all over the place. And
All right.
the best
Hey, wait,
thing you
wait.
can come up with is Andre the Giant fell on his dead mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, I got something. All right, here.
Okay.
Undertaker or Wyatt? Who's gonna win? Go.
Who do I want to win?
Who is going to win? Who do you think and how is it
Undertaker,
gonna happen?
sadly. Because they want
Undertaker.
him to kind of make up the mistake from last year's shitty match with Brock Lesnar, which it just should have been let it go because Undertaker's old and he sucks, and he hasn't been cool since like 1992, and he's
Just
old.
like wrestling.
Shut up, Jesse.
Okay.
Or I'll touch your butt.
All right. So here's the next one. All right. So is it going to be Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns?
I think Roman Reigns, maybe, but I'm also guessing that Seth Rollins cashes in his Money in the Bank. But
Do you think that if Brock Lesnar wins, that the Undertaker will come out and try to reclaim the streak?
Nah, he can't.
Okay.
It's been broken.
Bob, but he would start again.
What is happening? He just turned 50. How's he going to be able to have 22 more matches to
Dude, he's
clean
the
up?
Undertaker. That's the character.
Oh, that's true. All right.
And final question of the night: who is going to win the Memorial Battle Royal
For Andre the Giant?
for Andre the Giant who fell on his mother?
Ryback. I feel
That's
like
what I
it's
said.
Ryback.
I said Ryback too. I also said that Ryback versus Lesnar, good match.
Oh no, that would be a really good match, especially
Yeah,
since
they're both
Ryback's
giant in the
getting better.
neck.
Oh yeah, no, those dudes don't have a neck, and I would kick him in the beanbag just to make fun of, just to piss him off too.
I want to watch them rub heads.
You guys are out of control.
So James, have you been getting back into wrestling? Because I know you said you weren't really like watching it since like '94.
My daughter and I have been watching wrestling for the last year. Only problem is every night that Raw is on
Yeah,
or
it's a school
SmackDown. Yeah, it's a school night, so she doesn't get to watch it, and I end up reviewing movies, and we're like, oh, we'll watch it on the weekend, and then we don't because it's in total. If you watch Raw and SmackDown, it's 7 hours or something like that, or it's 6 hours of you can't do it. So it's like all right. So
well, that's
we
nice
only
that you guys have that bond.
we watched WrestleMania 4, and we watched Survivor Series, one of the older Survivor Series. For Thanksgiving, and we do the network, and I try to get her into like Dino Bravo, and I try to like show her stuff, and yeah, so it's fun. She likes some of it.
Well, that's good.
But now that all the talk about WrestleMania 17's happened today, I'm gonna have to show her that too.
Oh, that's one of the best WrestleManias ever.
Yeah, I tuned out after about 10. I went to 10 in Madison Square Garden, and then I kind of tuned out after that. I had a great time.
That's always been one of my big dreams as a wrestling fan to go to Madison Square Garden.
I
I've
was just
never
there
been to MSG.
I took her there this year too for a Wrestling Live, and we saw a bunch of people. Man, it was wild. I mean,
Was it the one in December?
yeah, December 26th.
Oh, that show always rules.
Yeah, it was good. It was very fun.
No.
She's a big Dean Ambrose fan. She has a shirt that says Unstable, and I think she's actually got a little bit of a crush on him.
Well, I don't get that. Maybe I'm just insecure about myself.
Yeah. She likes Dean Ambrose.
All right, you guys, we're gonna completely
done.
lose Jesse here. So
Okay,
Alright,
so
we're
that
done.
was
I've been applying to a different podcast while you were talking.
you guys,
He's
come
been
on.
applying to Underscoop Fire. Let's be fair.
We're losing Jesse. We can't lose Jesse.
Are you applying to Nerd Lunch? You
That-
son
yeah.
of a bitch.
Yeah, the Dead Pit. I'm going to the Dead Pit. Is what I'm
You're gonna go to Night of the Living Pod or whatever it is. Screen. You know who you should apply for? Is Exorcast. Now that is a damn fine show.
It is. Bumper.
And they're fine young gentlemen. And they're sexy too. What's up, Chuck Connors?
Chuck Connor.
Never forget in summer camp.
Have you seen this man, Chuck Connors?
Your parents are dead. How's
You're
Wolfie,
kidding.
Mom? Wolfie's fine. Your parents are dead. All right, we're done with the wrestling. Let's get on to some shit because
All
my
right.
nuts are sagging.
So yeah, let's talk about movies. So let's take a quick break for a couple minutes here, and then that way if you gotta go to the bathroom or get alcohol or do whatever you
I
have
need
to
to
do,
get alcohol.
then go do it.
If there's gonna be any more wrestling conversation.
There will not, I promise.
We'll take a couple minutes, and we'll be back, and then we'll talk about some movies
These
because
nuts.
this is a movie podcast, so that sometimes happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I'm gonna go find all my sweaters.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Welcome to Dead Pit. It's the Creep Kentuckian. It's Uncle Bill. That's Uncle Bill. And we're the ballers and shot callers of Hard Talk Radio. That's right. We're the innovative hard podcast radio. I don't know why you're listening to this shit. Fucking liberals. Fucking liberals. Fuck the liberals. Fucking Exorcast. Oh, fuck the Exorcast. Dead Pit's the biggest thing in the world. The only thing bigger than Dead Pit is my gut. You're best bigger than Dead Pit, but fucking piece of shit too, though. Hey guys, are you tired of that fucking shit? We are too. We're Exorcast. I'm Vincent. And I'm W. And every week we talk about gore, sleaze, smut, fucking VHS tapes, and German hard boxes. So when you're done with the liberal dead, come check us out at exorcast.com. Because the power of cast compels you.
Fast, they're foul, they're on the prowl. Hey! It's some kind of faggot? On the streets, between the sheets. They're hot on the trail of some kitten's tail.
That's okay, it's not fattening.
Take his chick. Silent, sinister, sensual. Cat burglars out to snatch some pussy. Tomcats. You can't be tame and play their game. They feel no pain on the way down the drain. Just a pair of lovable cut-ups. If they've got an axe to grind, they work it out together. They always give their dates a real blast. Like just one big kick. They practice on human targets. The city is dark, the night is hot, the tomcats are loose. Human by day, animals at night. Half man, half beast, all desire. They're up your skirt before you can flirt. A gang of guys on the rise. Just a pack of roving rapers on the prowl for carnal capers. Tomcats.
You've got about 5 more minutes to live.
Not on your life. Tomcats.
All right, and welcome back. So what you guys heard there during the break was a bumper for our friends over at Exercast, which is our buddy Chris, our buddy Chuck Connery, and another dude named Newsfinder General, and they talk about horror movies and pornography and Jess Franco films, which can barely be considered movies, depending on who you are. And they talk about all sorts of stuff. They're good dudes. We like them. And you should listen to their podcast. In fact, I think their new slogan, instead of "the power of cast compels you," should just be "Shut up, Chuck," because they say that a lot. So, just check them out. They talk about retard strength, things like that. And yeah, good dudes. So check them out, exercast.com, and they are also on iTunes and Stitcher and all of those other places. So. Apparently, Chad said he had to run to the closet for a moment.
Probably the get R. Kelly out.
Yeah, I think he's trying to tell us something, guys. Yeah. So the other thing that you heard there during the break was one of the tracks from the It Follows soundtrack, which, like I said, I really like, and the trailer for Tomcats, which plays much more like a comedy in the trailer, but I heard it's actually like a serious like rape revenge thriller type thing.
You talking about the one? Talking about the one with
No, not with Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry. That's what I was thinking. I was like, what?
This is like from the 70s, and it's like some revenge movie about like some dudes that rape somebody and revenge and getting blown apart and stuff. So,
sure.
But the trailer is just so funny. So
that score is on one of my workout mixes, and I actually didn't know what it was from.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was bopping along, and I'm like getting it all like I'm like, you know, moving my arms, and I'm getting ready to do some cardio, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna podcast, yeah. That was good. It's good.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the Tomcats.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I think Code Red put it out as a double feature on one of their DVDs or something.
Look, you know, when you slip in a little bit of the soundtrack to It Follows, like in the background like that, when you don't like when I don't know it's coming, it's kind of like masturbating, like it's a stranger, you know, like I don't know what's happening, I don't know what's gonna come. So that was very good. I just thought that was useful. I appreciate that.
Have you masturbated?
If I must be, I mean, at least it's here amongst friends.
That's true. We won't judge. We won't judge. So, with that being said, let's talk about some movies. So this is the part of the podcast where we usually talk about stuff that we've been watching lately. So, I guess, why don't we start with James?
Ah, shit.
Do you need a moment? Should we start with Jesse?
No. I can do this. I can do this. All right. I've been watching a lot of stuff, but mostly just to review. So it's a lot of Blu-rays of retro titles.
That's cool.
Not a lot of new stuff, I would say. So I watched the new Scream Factory Ghoulies 1 and 2 disc. I watched both in 2 nights, and it was fantastic.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Part 1. I know that Jesse is a big fan of the whole series. This is like the wrestling conversation. I should probably move on. But it was good.
No, don't move on. I want to talk about Ghoulies, because Ghoulies on bumper cars.
Dude, actually, and I reconnected with the first one, and I realized that the last time I watched it, I must have been really young because I missed all the pot references in the movie, which are constant, and it looks great. It really does. The extra on there that's really worthwhile is there's like a making of feature. Of course, you got Charlie Band talking, but there's plenty of other worthwhile material on there. It's not just him tooting his own horn. I think it's a pretty good disc. It's a good double feature. The menu screen's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, there's actually, for people out there who are like, oh, I don't need that, I already got the DVD. There is like an audio commentary. There's interviews. You got the trailers. You got deleted scenes. And all that, and plus, like I said, you got Ghoulies 1 and 2 on the same package there. I'm actually looking at it right now. I'm gonna watch that this weekend. But I personally, I love Ghoulies 2. Ghoulies 3, everybody already kind of knows how we feel about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go back and listen to the podcast that we did on it back in last fall, I think.
No, it was in the summer.
Was it summer?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was fall. I want to say I thought it was like September.
No, because I remember I was watching that at the crazy lady's cat house. So.
Oh yeah, when the cats were gonna eat you, the coon cats.
Yeah, that was in like August or so.
Okay. Well, either way, we talked about that, and I don't know. I'm gonna give Ghoulies 1 another shot, but I remember really just being bored the entire time that I watched it previously.
See, you have to remember when I watched it, I wasn't supposed to watch it. It was. My dad used to pirate movies when I was a kid. You'd rent 2 VCRs and he'd copy the tapes. And so he'd copy like 2 movies onto a tape and using the LP setting. And so I think he had Mary Poppins, and then right after that was Ghoulies. So I'd watch Mary Poppins because Julie Andrews was fucking hot. And I'd go right into Ghoulies. And so I got a good education in the first Ghoulies. And the second one I didn't see nearly as much, but I grew a strong affinity for that first movie.
Well, that first movie used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid when it first came out, because they had that standee that was over in like the video stores and stuff, and it just had that ghoulie coming out of the toilet. And for some reason, like that shit just scared me, because I was like afraid of the toilet after that for a while. Because I was like because it was like they're gonna get you, they'll get you in the end.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck.
They talk about that in that making of documentary, how that all happened. It's very funny.
Well, yeah, because weren't they like playing commercials during like kids' TV or something?
They were, because it was a green band trailer, so you could play it any time, and they were playing it, and parents were freaked out, saying that they were ruining their toilet training. Kids wouldn't go to the bathroom on the toilet anymore. They were freaking out. And the other fun thing is, so it's Charlie Band and some other dude who I can't remember who it was, and they're talking, and they're trying to basically brainstorm the marketing campaign behind this movie. And the way that they're going to do it is, they've got this, they're like, let's put the ghoulie in the toilet bowl. They're like, yeah, that'll be great. And they say, what will the slogan be? And it should be, it'll get you in the ass. And that's what they were going to use, but they're like, oh, you can't put ass. If you put ass on there, you're going to lose your whole market. So, they figured out it'll get you in the end. And then they had to go back and shoot the shot for the movie where the ghoulie pops out of the toilet bowl, because that didn't exist before then. That was all after the fact.
It is like randomly just inserted in the movie, if I remember correctly.
It doesn't look nearly as good. I mean, good being relative, but it doesn't look proper.
He'll get you in the ass.
Yes,
Chad will get you in the ass.
He will.
Don't tempt me.
He will.
So so that's coming from Scream Factory.
Next month.
April 21st, I think. So you can pre-order it on Amazon right now for like $17. So. Yep,
it's that, and Escape from New York comes out that same day, and that's a brutal fun time. You got tons of stuff on that disc. That disc is hardy.
Yeah, there's a whole disc full of special features, right?
It's great. They're all great. I watched the whole thing.
A new 2K scan from the original negative, and.
Yeah, and there's a new commentary on there with Adrienne Barbeau. And was it Cundy? Was it Gandhi? I'd have to go look at it. Yep.
I have it right in front of me. I'm looking at it.
And funny, I didn't listen to that one because I hadn't listened to the older Kurt Russell, John Carpenter one, and you always told me when I see a John Carpenter, Kurt Russell commentary, I have to listen to it, so I did, and it was so good. You were absolutely right, and so I thoroughly enjoyed that recently.
Their commentaries are almost better than the movies sometimes.
It was, and you can learn how to film a movie. You can learn how to work within a budget, and of course they always talk about how Hollywood has changed, and you hear a lot of that cynicism in Carpenter's voice, and you'll want to smoke the whole time too. That's important. When you listen to his commentaries, you want to smoke. But
the
I
Iron
love
Lung.
that. Yeah. And let me think. What else did I watch? I watched Clown recently. I imported a Blu-ray. There was a limited 500 copy of.
So you
Blu-ray
did get one of those crazy $500. How much did that cost you?
Nothing. It was like normal price.
Wow.
I found it on. No, I didn't go to Amazon UK. I went to some German site I'd never been to. Some weird name that began with an E, and they had them for like a normal Blu-ray price, and I bought it, and it looked great. And that movie's a creepy original flick.
Oh yeah.
Definitely like the idea. You put on the clown uniform and you become something else. You become the clown, but what that clown really is something completely different. It's got some really dark moments, and it's got some really funny moments, but it's not a funny movie, and it doesn't try to be as dark as, say, I don't know, like a Serbian film dark, but there's definitely, some kid death in there, and that always kind of puts people off. But still, the kid death was moderately entertaining, so I guess it wasn't all bad.
Well, yeah, they definitely shoot it straight with that movie. Like, it's serious, which is great. I think it works for it.
There's that scene where he's trying to cut off the uniform. He can't get the uniform off, and he fucking puts a Sawzall in his, in the neck hole of the clown costume, and you're like...
Yeah.
I was like giggling. I was like, "This can't be good." You just kind of like look like through your eye because you're like, "Oh, I can't watch him do it," and then you see what happens. It's pretty cool. That was good. I've actually and the only other thing I'd like to mention is Muck. I saw Muck, and Muck's been getting shit on by everybody, and all I can say is that movie has boobs and is fun, and people are taking it way seriously. Like, it's just a fun movie. It's nothing groundbreaking. There's some neat camera stuff, some neat lighting choices, and there's boobs. And there's I thought it was fine. An entertaining movie. I didn't expect anything more than like a hatchet movie, and I feel like I got a little bit more considering I don't like the entirety of the Hatchet series. I feel like it was kind of a step up from that style of movie. I put it on par with I put it on par with like a hillbilly kind of horror movie. You know what I mean? Like almost like that style. And they're not hillbillies or anything, but that's kind of how that feel is. You go into this place that's completely secluded from everybody, and something's going to come after you.
So it feels like you're hanging out with Chuck Connery.
Yeah, no, that movie gets trashed by everybody. I wrote a review of it that was glowing, and the trolls. It was like seriously like Troll 2. I really thought that someone was going to be like, they're eating me, now they're going to eat you. Oh my god! Like that was what happened when I wrote that review. Everybody came out and started just fucking needling me, saying you're a fucking idiot. And I can't remember who I said it to, but I was like, man, I got to stop reviewing movies. I'm so out of touch with what people want to hear. I have no clue what to say to people anymore.
I love how that movie just starts like it's just right in the middle of some kind of fucked up shit and then picks up from there. I thought it was pretty interesting the way they did that.
I thought I missed something. I was like, no, that was it. It was good. It was like high energy,
Yeah.
And they're boobs.
And there's lots of boobs.
They're a ton, and they look good. They're good.
Apparently
boobs.
that's what people are angry about, though, because everybody I've heard bitching about it is bitching that all it is like boobs and that's about it.
People just
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did everyone forget what it was like to be a 12-year-old and find a movie at a video store that had boobs in it? Oh shit. Oh fuck. What, you mean you can watch a movie and it not be a serious psychological take on some woman's, being a single mother and raising some fucked up kid and what happens? Oh no, some movies can just be about fucking boobs and like a little bit of gore here and there and weird things trying to get you.
Yo,
and it's fine.
Some movies can be about ghoulies coming out of a toilet.
Ghoulies coming out of a toilet. Giant ghoulies fucking eating other ghoulies.
Dude, the mega ghoulie is awesome.
Fucking mega ghoulies. Fucking, I mean, some movies can be...
That fucking other ghoulie, and he's got like the part of it hanging out of his mouth.
Oh, it's great. And some movies that are getting fucking this rave review, right? This beautiful review. Some movies can be about people going into the woods and some fucking dude wearing like rosary beads and a big old fucking hairy suit and fucking killing people with loud and that can be praised by fucking everybody. But a movie where they go into a bog and get fucking, you see boobs the whole time, and it's like weirdly shimmerly like lit, like almost pretty and slow-mo and weird stuff. Oh, that movie's like shit upon, you know, because that movie's not fucking from 1981 that reinvented the slasher film. No. End of the
Basically, fuck y'all.
Yeah, so Muck was pretty good. I can't wait for the prequel, and if they get a sequel, that'd be good too. And it's already fundraised for the prequel, so fuck y'all.
All right.
What?
My tunes!
Yeah, that's the best part, man. That dude's just like, he like smashed the box. My tunes!
And by the way, when I was mentioning Don't Go in the Woods, and I was like, you know, kind of like sounding like I was trashing it, I simply mean that people are giving that movie critical acclaim while they're bashing this new movie. When Don't Go in the Woods, come on.
The movie sucked.
It's kind of a piece of shit, right? Like, we know that, right? We know that that movie is, like, I don't know. I guess it's funny a little bit. It's dated. There are some movie scenes that are definitely dirty, filthy. But guys, I mean, like, you can't go just praise everything and then just shit on every new movie that comes out just because it doesn't have the allocated, you know, psychological aspect that everyone wants to have, like, you know, brains in their movie these days. We are not fucking professors. Watching movies, analyzing them, and breaking them down for some students in our remedial community college English class.
But if it's from the 80s, it has to be good, James.
We want to watch movies and be entertained.
It has to be good because I was watching it when I was 3 years old, James.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it wasn't even out when I was 3 years old.
And
That's
somebody
the
killed your
internet,
child,
man.
and somebody else got their childhood killed the other day. It's actually on the most wanted list, on the FBI's most wanted list too. The childhood.
They raped my childhood.
There's a childhood rapist.
Asking for.
I hear there's a new date rape drug that involves raping of childhoods.
Well, your childhood is asking for a dress like that.
That's the internet. The internet's the drug. Anyway, that's my rant. I just finished a whole bunch of candy, so that'll wear off. I'm gonna pass out in about 5 seconds.
Well done, sir. Anything else? Anything else that you watched that you want to talk about?
I watched The Babadook last night, but I'll save that for some other time. Again, I watched it again.
That Babadook, though.
That new disc, and it's got another. That's another one with a pile of extras I haven't gone through yet. So.
All right, cool. Well, let's go to Sean. Let's talk to Sean and find out what Sean's been watching.
I don't even know what I've watched. Mostly, like, stuff like him, like old stuff on Blu-ray. Like, I watched Arrows, Mark of the Devil, and I've never seen that movie before, so that's one thing. And I really, really liked it. And that Blu-ray looks ridiculous. Like, the colors and the detail level is some of the best I've ever seen on a title from 1969. But that's also a really good movie. I think
69, dude.
Yeah.
That's it?
No, I watched that Girl House movie a while back with crazy ass Slane as this guy that's stalking these girls in a porn house, and that was good. People hate it too, though.
I haven't heard of that one at all.
No, it was a good movie. There are also there's some skin in that, but not enough skin.
I saw the trailer for this upcoming Entourage movie, and I never seen the show, so I've been like basically watching that for the last week or so. So my brain's a little scrambled. But that's mostly what I've been watching.
Yeah, basically Sean's gonna turn into a bro.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, do you like an Entourage?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like.
Come on, Jesse. You read Film Drunk. You must like Entourage a little bit.
No.
Jeremy Piven. I like Jeremy Piven in everything. He reminds me of me, so I enjoy that.
Because he's angry?
Because he's always very pissed off and screaming profanities and, yeah, sarcastic. I like him. PCU, motherfucker.
The goods.
At the pit.
Sell.
Everyone gets laid. Good times. Okay. Anything else?
That's about it.
Huh? Okay. Well, Jesse, then let's hear about your latest conquests here, so that Dylan can get angry.
Yeah. So what we got? I didn't see too much. Let's see. Rewatched Wild at Heart again because I wanted to. And that's still a great movie, guys. Let me just tell you. I went and saw that new Sean Penn movie, and that movie's really fucking terrible. Like,
is it that bad? I heard he just doesn't wear his shirt through most of the movie.
Well, some of that. There's some of that, but it's like I kind of like the first 10 minutes you're watching it, and you're like, oh, this could be like a competent, like mediocre film. Like I don't feel like, I could sit through this like petty action film. But then it just like totally takes a dump after that point, and like. The movie, the script writing was so lazy that it barely has time to like finish its own like the cliche action movie stuff. Like it just kind of like throws it at you on screen. It's just like, all right, next scene, all right, next set piece, and it's just very aimless and soulless, and it's sort of like super mean to women for no apparent reason. Like at one point, Sean Penn is like trying to get to this dude, and this woman's like in the way, and he just like straight up punches her in the face. And then
he just does that in real life.
I know, but then it cuts, like ties up Madonna and stuff.
What about? I was gonna say, like, what about that shit at the Oscars where he was just like, "Who the fuck gave this guy his green card?" And apparently that wasn't scripted.
but I mean he is a notorious monster, but I don't think he necessarily like. Well, he does have a screenwriting credit on this film, but.
It's just Sean Penn like writing down all of the things he would like to do.
Yeah, so he punches this woman like in the face, and then they just cut to her like bleeding on the ground, and it's just like, why are you like, you don't need this, not necessary at all.
But Jesse, Nick Cage totally punched a chick in the face in the Wicker Man remake.
That's true.
And he like that kid's bike.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, but they were bad people that were gonna burn him.
It's true.
It's the fucking bear costume.
Yeah, then he kicks that one lady, and yeah, it's great. That's a good movie.
To sit down and rewatch that entire thing. You know what? We should do at some point. We should do like a live streaming watch of that.
Oh fuck yeah! Because that movie, you can talk about that movie for a while.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I bet you I'll like it more than the original. Now everyone's gonna come after me.
Once you realize that the movie's not supposed to be taken seriously, it's actually all right. Well,
I'll be honest. I'm not really a big fan of the original. I just found it to be pretty boring. So.
Yeah.
Well, wait. The original Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I said. People are gonna come after me.
I'm not gonna do it. But what do you think about the Wicker Tree?
I didn't see it.
Yeah. That's a lot of people didn't want to watch that one either. I understand not wanting to see that. It was alright though.
That one was a piece of shit, but I don't know.
Not piece.
I'm not saying that the Wicker Man is bad. I'm just saying it's not really my thing.
Jeff, you have got to keep your appointment with the Wicker Man.
There was weird like 70s boobs and folk music.
Bush.
Mm-hmm.
As a fan of the Bush,
everything's in.
Glycerin.
I always vote for the Bush.
Sure.
Except in elections.
We got terrorists trying to rape the American public. Now his fucking brother's trying to run for president. That's fucking President Jeb.
Yeah.
That's what we need is a fucking Beverly Hillbilly in the White House. I'm sorry.
Another frat boy to take over the country.
I will leave my politics out of this.
Fuck Indiana.
So anyway, you watched
Gunman, and that's not a good movie. That's a bad movie. Don't watch it. It's yeah, it's just really it's a nauseating movie. It's a loud movie, and I don't. There's nothing really redeeming about it. So just don't. I wouldn't even bother with it.
It's the Christy Jet of movies.
Pretty much. Which yeah.
And it's going to get like nominated for 1,000 awards.
But the gun. What?
It's probably going to get nominated because Sean Penn's in it.
No, I don't think so at all. I mean,
No,
this movie was critically
Most people
trashed
seem
up
to
and
be
down.
hating it. Like,
I think it's like I think it's below. I think it's like in the single digits on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it's not doing well at all. Let's see. Oh, I saw Citizen 4, that documentary about Ed Snowden. And that was very, very, very good. It was very good. It's not. I mean, if you're in tune with a lot of what happened with him and that whole, like everything when that broke, it's not that. There's no information that you learn that's anything different. But it is nice the way that it's filmed, the way she filmed it. She filmed it basically like in real time, so you follow the events as they happen. So you're watching, you're with him in the hotel room before he's on television and all that stuff, and he's talking to what's his face from The Guardian, and he's talking to the director, and she's there, and it's really fascinating just to see how he worked up all this courage, and then he was like completely paranoid about everything, and he was like fearing for his girlfriend's life for a while there. It's very tense because you're like in that moment with them, yeah, it's cool. I mean, it just makes you hate everything about everything, but it's a very strong documentary, and I highly recommend to check it out. And if you know nothing about what happened with Edward Snowden, then you really fucking need to watch that movie because it's very important.
Did it sway you?
Sway me to what?
If you had an opinion about him before, negative or positive, whether you felt what he did was right or wrong, did the documentary push you in one direction?
No, I always felt that he did the right thing. In this movie, probably, the movie makes it out that he did do the right thing, but it also at the same time, like he says on camera, he's like, listen, this is not about me. This is not about me at all. I don't want to be, like, as soon as you're a public figure, they make it all about you and they detract from the problem at hand. Mm-hmm. And he's a very smart individual. But no, I always liked him, and I always thought he did the right thing. But this solidifies that, I guess, in some ways. So yeah, yeah, okay. And today I saw It Follows last night, but I can't talk about that yet. And
well, yeah. I mean, if you want to say yay or nay, you can say that. But
I
don't want to get into
I have a very complicated yay on that. I liked it. I didn't love it. But we'll talk more about it next week. But I highly recommend that people check it out in theaters. And
yeah, but again, like liking something and not loving it doesn't mean that it's not a good thing, right? Because you're not gonna love every fucking movie, and I think that's part of the problem with today. Is everybody's like, if they don't love something, they just are like, it's not that fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's not really true. Like some movies can just be like good, right?
Yeah, that's how I feel. There was things in it that frustrated me.
That's fair enough. I mean, we will definitely have discussion. So.
Yeah, but it's really very much worth your money, very much worth your time, and it is a great film to see in a theater with an audience. I will say that.
Was your crowd packed? Just out of curiosity.
It was hefty, like more than I thought it would be. It was Thursday night, and it wasn't as many people. There was this Hispanic family that was talking behind me. I had to shush them eventually.
Oh, Jesse's going there.
Yeah, I'm pretty notorious for shushing people, but so I
thought you were going to say you're pretty notorious for talking about Hispanic people.
No, not at all. So yeah, it was a good experience, and then we sat at the bar and we talked about it for like an hour because there's just so much to talk about, which I think
are we being you and John or?
Yeah, it was John and I, and we basically just sat and talked for like an hour on it, and kind of it was just it's a very good movie to talk about, which I feel is a strong point because I think even if you ended up like completely hating it, there's so much you can talk about. So yeah, it's a cool movie. All right, and today I finished up some work today, so I decided to go to the theater again, and I saw Run All Night, the new Liam Neeson movie, which I kind of went in with some hesitation. Well, not hesitation, but I kind of went in being like, this could be kind of terrible. But I went into that with Nonstop, and I ended up walking out of Nonstop going, that movie was okay. And it's in a similar fashion to Nonstop. He plays an alcoholic in this film too, and it's a father-son story that revolves around like sins of the past and passing on sense of violence to your kids and all this stuff. But it's a fun. It's like I think I described it as like a manly, violent piece of bubblegum that you just kind of chew the whole time, and it never really gets too tired. And yeah, there's car chases, there's shootouts. Liam Neeson dresses up like Santa and hits on some dude's wife. Like it's all right. That movie's all right.
Sold.
Yeah, it has it's not like because like coming off of Gunman and being like that movie had no pulse. It just was like a fish out of water. And this one, it like even though it's like competently mediocre, it has a pulse and it knows what it is and it goes through all the motions very adequately, I guess. So if you're bored, it's a good movie to check out, and I think it will be a big hit when it comes out on like being able to rent it from Netflix or whatever. I think people will talk about it a lot more then and be like, why did I see it in theaters? And then so yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, and that's all I got.
Right on. So Chad,
Yes.
what have you been watching?
Okay. Well, first off, I have not seen Cool as Ice this week.
Everybody who's listening and playing along with the drinking game, you need to take a drink.
Yes. All right. So, I haven't really had a lot of time to watch movies this week. It's been kind of a long work week for me, and whatever, But my girlfriend Lori brought home some movies from Redbox last night. She brought Foxcatcher and she brought Birdman, which are both great.
I am the Birdman.
Yes, you are. You have sexy wings. And I gotta say, honestly, as a whole, I think I enjoyed Foxcatcher more, just because, I don't know what it was, but I mean, normally movies like that don't really hold my attention or interest me. But there was something very interesting from like the first 10 minutes or so, and it was one of those movies that I just had to invest my time and just see how it played out, because I actually knew nothing about the two brothers and the DuPonts, and so I was really interested, and it's a really interesting story. So then I looked it up later, and it's just very bizarre and very fascinating. So,
and it has to do with wrestling.
Yeah, the boring wrestling. The boring wrestling.
Yeah, dude, but it's got dudes in leotards like totally like.
Oh, it so does.
Holding each other.
And it's got C-Tates being paranoid.
Sweating. It's got C-Tates doing cocaine with
DuPont.
With Michael Scott. Yeah. But and that's one of the things that I guess was it Mark or whatever his name is?
Mark Ruffalo?
No. The real life Mark Schultz. I guess he said like the one scene that they were kind of implying that him and DuPont were like having a relationship. And I remember watching the scene where they're like, practicing. I remember thinking, is there like something going on? Is he obsessed with this guy in a sexual sense or something? And there were a lot of like weird questions that I had about like the relationship between the guys, and I don't know, but I thought it was a solid movie. I think any award that it was nominated, did it win any awards?
No, the only thing it really got nominated for, I think,
like makeup.
Ruffalo got nominated for Best Supporting, and
he was good.
Probably best in the movie. Steve Carell got nominated for Best Actor, which I don't think he should have gotten. I don't think he was good, but I don't think it was anything really all that crazy special. It's just kind of like, oh, hey, look, he can do something besides be funny.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of different, and I think that was kind of an appeal too, just because we've all seen him do the same kind of bit over and over. So to kind of see him in a different light, it was real weird, but it was really, I guess, captivating. So.
Right. But it's one of those things though where I think that the original story is more interesting than the movie. Like, it's a well-made movie. It's good, but it's not one of those movies that I would call great. And I definitely don't think that it was like one of the best movies of last year. I think that it was good, and I think the story's more interesting. And I think, quite frankly, when it comes down to it, and I'll talk about this in a few minutes when I get to what I've been watching, but that DuPont dude is very similar to another guy who's been in the news recently. If you really think about John DuPont and you think about all that stuff and you think about Robert Durst, a.k.a. Fred Durst.
Not Fred Durst. I am not Robert.
But when you think about that and you think about like behavior, and these guys come from these really like rich ass families and they're just so sheltered and they're just so fucking weird, and they just develop these weird relationships with other people and then end up killing people. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, but I like I said, I think the story's pretty fascinating, but other than that, it was kind of like, well, I saw that and I was like, I'm done. I don't have any desire to really watch it again. But you see what I was saying when I told you it's kind of a downer. You probably don't want to watch it second, because I don't know if I'd want to end my night watching that movie.
And that was the other thing I was gonna say is, as good as the movie was, and I really thought it was, it's not a movie that I'm gonna go out and buy, or I'm gonna just sit there and just like watch it like over and over again. It's a really good movie. You see it once and you're like, okay, but I really enjoyed it. I really did.
Right on.
If no one has seen it, I do suggest it. Birdman. Here's the deal. I thought Birdman was really, really good. I thought everyone in it was fantastic. I thought Ed Norton was a perfect asshole, which I believed. I thought Emma Stone was great. Obviously, probably my favorite actor of all time, Michael Keaton, was just superb. I mean, he was great. I feel like it just got kind of dull at times, and I thought it kind of dragged on. I'm not saying that it's a bad movie by any means. I'm just saying I think after hearing so much hype about it, I was expecting like this over the top, and it was over the top, but I was just expecting this movie to be like I was just expecting a lot more. But I mean, the stuff that I got out of it, I mean, I would probably add it to my movie collection, but I don't know what it is that kind of peeved me, or it didn't even like piss me off. It just, I feel like I didn't feel like it was the best movie ever.
Well, but again, I don't think it is either. I don't think it's the best movie ever. It's one of those things where, but I feel like that was another one where last year it got lumps and heaps of praise dumped on it that maybe necessarily weren't. I don't want to say they weren't deserved, and I hate to use that word, overrated, because as James was saying, it's kind of a silly thing. But I feel like there was a lot of people just acting like it was the best fucking thing that they've ever seen, and I'm like, did you even watch Whiplash or Nightcrawler? Like, those movies were definitely like. Birdman is good. It's really good, but it's kind of like it's partially a gimmick.
Yeah, it really is, and you can kind of tell that it's a gimmick too. Like as you're watching it, you're kind of like, well, and I know, and I guess that the movie was written before they got Michael Keaton to be in it, but like he makes some jokes about his Batman past, and he even mentions the last time he was Birdman was in '92, which is when Batman Returns came out, and I mean it's like a nudge nudge wink wink kind of deal sometimes in that movie, and I get it, but I don't know what it is that I didn't think it was I don't know. I didn't think it was as perfect as everyone was making it. Did it? I mean, do I think Michael Keaton deserved an award? I think he's one of the most underrated and underappreciated. I think he's always going to be remembered as like Batman and Beetlejuice, Mr. Mom. Yeah. So I mean, he definitely deserves praise for his work. Like if you go and watch like Pacific Heights, I think that's one of his best roles ever.
True story. I once had a Mr. Mom VHS tape that I rented from 7-Eleven back when they were renting movies, and it got lost, and I had to pay the $100 for the video.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh.
It was Mr. Mom.
I have a Mr. Mom story myself. When I came around, my dad actually became a stay-at-home dad, and this was like right after the time Mr. Mom came out.
Did you just say when I came around?
Yeah.
But you mean like when you were born, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'll tell you.
I was like, he's just like, when I came around. Oh, no, wait, I got you. Wait,
yeah, you know the story.
Yeah, never mind. Okay, it makes sense. Never mind.
Yeah. But yeah, you'll edit this out later, I hope.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. All right. So I have a good Mr. Mom story as well, Jeff. So when that movie came out, my dad was a huge fan, and when I was born, my dad decided to be a stay-at-home dad, and one Christmas he actually got a Mr. Mom shirt because he loved that movie so much. So that's my Mr. Mom story.
Okay.
No one's gonna get that. Anyway, but yeah, I think that the movie was great. I don't know. I feel like there was.
Well, I get you.
I just don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. You know?
I think he deserved to get the Oscar over Eddie Redmayne, but
I didn't even see what was that. Was the Stephen Hawking kid?
Jesse saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that good?
No, it's fucking terrible.
Dude, I was just like, the only reason he got it was because he was playing like somebody who's a real person who had a disability or a disease or whatever, and so therefore and so therefore him being like in a movie is more deserving of the Oscar than Michael Keaton, who is actually like fucking acting. Well, I mean, I guess they both are, but come on, dude, like you're gonna give it to the dude who's like fucking like in his 20s, who has his whole career ahead of him. Meanwhile, Michael Keaton does the best thing that he's done in a long time, and you're just gonna be like, fuck it. And the only reason I could think of that they did that was because they snubbed the fucking movie on everything else, and the Oscars are like, well, we've got to give at least one award to the fucking guy with the disease, because that's important.
And if I'm wrong, and please someone correct me, I think that's his very first and only Oscar nominee.
I think it is.
Nomination.
Oh, for Keaton? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I was so sure he was going to win, too. But.
And I think everyone kept saying, what it kind of felt like is the, what's the Christopher Guest movie? Where Catherine...
Best in Show?
No. The one where she's like an aging, for your consideration. No, is that it? For your consideration?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, so everyone is like saying, "Oh yeah, she's gonna win. She's gonna win. This is, the restart of her career, and she's being booked, and she's getting a lot of attention." And then all of a sudden, someone else gets it, and you're just like, "Oh man, like we really would have wanted to see him get it." So I don't know. It was a shame, and maybe I'm being biased, but I would have just loved to have seen him get it.
Yeah, I would have too, but hopefully, if anything though, at least his career has come back, so he'll be in more stuff.
I hope so. He
was even good in the fucking RoboCop remake.
I think he was the highlight of that movie, and I think anyone would say that too.
I still don't think that movie is as bad as everybody says it is.
No, I think it's a good origin movie, or it's a good starter, to a potential franchise. I just think
disembodied RoboCop is one of the creepiest things.
Oh yeah, that was creepy as shit. That was creepy as shit. I don't need to see that again.
I'm excited for that dude's next movie though. The director of Birdman.
Does he have another one coming out? Or...
Yeah, this year. It's called
really?
It's called The Revenant.
The Revenant.
Yeah, it's about that dude. It's about this guy Hugh Glass, who in like the 1800s he went on a hunting trip with his dudes, and they got attacked by a bear, and they left Hugh Glass to die, and Hugh Glass got mauled by this bear and like disfigured his face. So they spent his lifetime finding the guys that left him and getting his revenge.
Oh snap!
Yeah,
that sounds awesome. Actually,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll watch that shit. It's like Bear Mall Revenge.
There's the book's out. It's like a fictional retelling of that series of events, and the movie I think is based off the novel. So it's probably gonna be very fictional, but it's based on real events. So should be
I
cool.
would totally see that one. Yeah, that sounds amazing.
And with his sort of like style, I think it could be really fascinating.
And you know what? The movie had a nice style to it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will say that about
the
Birdman.
jazz, the jazz percussion, and yeah, it's all good stuff.
Oh yeah, it looked like a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I will say that it had a nice, unique look. So you know that had it going for it too. It just again, I'm gonna say it one last time. I don't know what it was, but it's just something missing. I don't know. I loved it. I would probably, like I said, I would probably pick it up and watch it. I would probably own it. So, those are the movies I've seen this week.
That's it? Really?
I tried to watch what was Girl Gone. What was it?
Gone Girl.
Gone Girl. And it just bored me. So that was it. And again, I'm not saying it's bad because my girlfriend came in and started raving about how great it was. I'm sure it's a great movie. It's just not my kind of style. So, you know, but that's all.
Chad's like, it's not my style. I don't like good movies.
That's bullshit because I just said I liked Foxcatcher and Birdman.
Okay.
Birdman.
I was thinking about Gone Girl for like a week after I saw it. I thought it was just so fucking...
Well,
everything about it.
Hold on, Chad. How far did you get into it?
About 20, maybe 20, 30
Dude,
or something.
Chad didn't even get to the part where shit gets like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, no. You know why? Because my girlfriend ended up coming in and spoiling it. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you won't believe what happened." Blah, 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 blah.
Well,
so now I kind of don't need to see it because I know how it ends.
When I was watching it and it got to that part, I was like, "Holy shit, this is a completely different movie than what I thought it was gonna be."
And you know what's weird is, from what I hear, it sounds. And I even asked Jesse if it was a real story. It sounds like it could be based off a real story. You know. Like I would honestly believe it to be a real story. You know?
I think Gillian Flynn just does not. I think she just felt trapped in her own marriage and thought of ways to fuck over her abusive husband. I guess. I don't know if Gillian Flynn has an abusive husband. I'm not making that claim, but I could see her like daydreaming about getting revenge on her husband who just bothered her that night or something. So, but no, it's not based off of anything. Actually.
Right.
But yeah.
Oh, one more thing. I just remembered another movie I watched.
What was it?
It was Masters of the Universe.
There you go.
Dolph Lundgren, though.
There you go.
Loincloths.
Yeah. See, now it's all making sense, isn't
Orko.
it? Yo, Orko wasn't in it. It was Gwildor.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say they had the like midget, right? It was a Billy Bart.
Yo, Billy Barty, never forget. So okay, yeah, that's pretty much all the movies I've seen.
All right. So I haven't been watching as many movies this week. I've been watching a lot of TV. I'll be honest. I've been talking about how I've been catching up on Hannibal, and I'm almost completely caught up with So I'm on the penultimate episode of season 2. So basically the one before the
second
finale.
to last.
Yeah, exactly. And holy fucking shit. If you are not watching that show, then you need to watch that show. And if you haven't watched it and you got Amazon Instant Video, if you got the Prime, then you can watch that shit for free. And I think you should watch it because again, if you're somebody who is like, I don't feel like watching this because it can't actually be as good as, like Silence of the Lambs, it's really, 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 really good, and probably my second favorite show on TV right now. So I think people should check that out. My favorite show on television, which I've been watching, is Better Call Saul. So again, watch that show. And The Walking Dead did pretty well last week. The episode was pretty good. I think
The penultimate episode.
Yep, again for the season finale. Sorry, my computer is fucking up. But for the season finale of that is coming up in like another day or two. But this season's been all right. It's been pretty good. I don't think it's the best thing on television, but I think that it's a lot better than a lot of people say it is. I think that they've had a few episodes that have been kind of like meh, but overall, I still watch it every week. So there's that. And then the show that I was talking about earlier that I highly recommend is a show that was on HBO that was called The Jinx, which is, I think it's The Jinx, The Life and Deaths of Robert Durst, which is basically a documentary that's been split out into like 6 45-minute-ish episodes. So it's like one really long documentary that's broken up, and it's all about this dude, this rich dude, Robert Durst, who is like the heir to this mega rich New York family who owns some of the most expensive property in New York City. And the fact that this dude might have killed a bunch of people. And I don't know, are any of you guys familiar with this show? Have any of you watched it?
I have not watched it, but I'm familiar with it. I'm a bit familiar with him.
I don't have HBO.
I'd never heard of it until that recent thing was all over the news.
Yeah, and it's funny because I started watching it, and it was like not that long afterwards that happened, and I was like, oh shit, but when you get to the fucking end of the show, well, first off, the whole story is just fucked up. It sounds like somebody couldn't even make this shit up. Because it's just like, without spoiling anything, just some of the shit that he gets accused of that, you find out, well, he may have possibly done all of these things, like dismembering, like killing and dismembering this old man and throwing him in a river and all this other shit. Like, it's just crazy. It's fucking nuts. Like, and just the fact that this dude was out there and some of the behavior things that he does and just the fact of some of the evidence that they have against him. And then you get to the very end of the show and you find out there's some crazy ass shit at the very end that happens in the last like 2 episodes that's just like, oh my fucking god. And again, I don't really want to necessarily say what it is, but you should check it out if you can. I think you can get it on demand and rent it that way, or it's probably going to come out on disc at some point. But especially with the stuff that's coming out now, it's going to be relevant. And it was directed by Andrew Jarecki, who did Capturing the Freedmans. And I think he also did, is it that Ryan Gosling movie that's actually kind of loosely based on the Robert Durst case? Because
is that with Kirsten Dunst?
Yes, where the wife goes missing. I think it's called All Good Things.
Yeah, All Good Things. It's not like that great of a movie, but
well, right, but still, it's
right. Yeah.
I want to see it now, just in conjunction with the actual case, because it's just like, holy shit.
And Ryan Gosling's all right to look at.
Go right to the man.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse. So, anyway, yeah, I think people should check that out. If you haven't seen it yet, it's out there. I powered through that shit and just like marathoned it, and I was completely hooked on it, and it's awesome. So watch those. Watch Spring, obviously. Watched It Follows, which, like I said, go out and watch it. We'll talk about Spring in a few minutes here. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I've seen. Well, I did recently get a bunch of Blu-rays, Some of them I haven't gotten a chance to watch all of the stuff on, but I did get the Carrie and so the Carrie remake and the Rage Carrie 2 double feature, which is coming out from Scream Factory in April. I think it's like April 14th, maybe. And there's actually a good amount of extras on here. And I haven't gotten a chance to see Carrie 2 just because I never actually watched it before, but I
love that movie.
It's been out of print for a while, so. And I keep hearing from people that it's actually pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to checking that out.
It's a good update, like a '90s update. It just don't if you just abandon, the idea that this is like Carrie's like stepsister or something like. Oh, I just spoiled it. You said you didn't see it. I'm sorry.
Fuck. Chad.
I also did not see it and have to review it.
I'll just say I liked it.
I do
and the
like.
Chick that plays the main chick is kind of hot too. So.
I was gonna say I do kind of like the remake. I've seen that before.
Wait, which one though? The Bettist or the?
Yeah, the Bettist one.
Oh, okay.
That was the first remake, but that was actually, going back to talking about like Hannibal. It was actually written by Brian Fuller, so it's got Catherine Isabelle in it.
Yeah, it's a cool little movie.
I feel like a lot of people slagged on it just because it was a remake and it was a made-for-television thing, but I don't really think that it necessarily deserves that. But I don't know, my opinion. So I got that. So I'm gonna check out the second one on that disc because I haven't seen that yet, and then I got Richard Gere in Breathless, which I guess is a remake of his Godard film, and it looks super weird because I have not seen it yet, but it's got like Richard Gere with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, like a tie and a white T-shirt on, and he's like grabbing this woman and shaking her.
Oh my god!
And it just kind of looks like it's batshit.
Welcome to my marriage.
Oh,
oh, mean.
So I'm gonna check it out, but that's coming out from Shout Factory, I think, at the end of April as well. And they also sent me Miami Blues, which is Alec Baldwin when he was skinny.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
Without his shirt on, pretending to be a policeman, with Jennifer Jason Leigh and Fred Ward. And I remember that movie from when I was a kid, and I haven't revisited yet. I will very soon, but it's one of those things where it's just like, it's very 90s. Let's put it that way. It's very 90s, and it's just weird seeing Alec Baldwin like pre-30 Rock ever.
Bump.
So.
Still dreamy.
He was in The Edge. The Edge is a good movie.
Yes, it is.
Fair game.
Isn't that the one with Anthony Hopkins?
Yeah, and they got the fucking bears after them.
Yep.
I'm thinking of another one.
Are you thinking of the Val Kilmer?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Val Kilmer.
Listen, I live every day like it is The Edge. That movie, I won't buy a watch. I don't want anyone to buy me a watch. I don't want my wife to buy me a watch because of that movie. I don't want to know that somebody else is going to get the same watch.
The Ghost in the Darkness, though. Fucking tigers eating children. So, anyway.
After watching The Edge, I wanted to fight a bear.
Who doesn't?
Like, I still want to fight a bear. I want to actually fight a black bear and wrestle it.
We got fucking Timothy Treadwell here.
Timothy. I love Timothy Treadwell.
In this is the part where he gets eaten by the bear.
And his soul went with the foxes.
It's like fucking watching Werner Herzog like listen to that, and he's just like, oh.
He's got like the most intense face on when Timothy's getting eaten.
Yeah, and it's just like he's just listening to it, and it's like, dude, Werner Herzog is fucking nuts.
Mhm.
I love that man.
Yeah.
He should like narrate every movie ever.
He should, yeah. He should be in every movie ever.
And then he just shows up in Jack Reacher.
Yeah, missing his fingers and...
And he's just like, "Oh, so Mr. Reacher." And it's like, what the fuck? What the fucking... How is Werner Herzog in this fucking movie? How?
Because it's an awesome movie.
You know what? I'm going to throw this out there. Werner Herzog as Bane.
Sure. He could be a good Batman villain.
Yeah, he could.
He could have been the Quilt Man, or the Quilt King.
He could be like old Mr. Freeze.
I totally accept that.
Dude, he's just so awesome. I love that guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's get to our actual review, like our featured review. You guys want to talk about Spring in a minute here?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're going to take a quick break. And so if you got to refill your drinks or hit the bathroom or do whatever you got to do, go do that now. We'll be back in a couple minutes, and we're going to review Spring. So don't go anywhere. Spring break! Bitches!
Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
You're the most attractive person I've ever seen. Go out with me tomorrow night.
No.
Buongiorno.
Do you remember my
You
name?
never told me. Scusa.
You're learning.
Le donne sono del gelo del mondo.
And you're not afraid to embarrass yourself. That's good.
I'm Evan.
Louise.
Been seeing this Italian girl. She's really pretty.
So, I only get to see you at night.
Our nights together must remain a secret.
She acts kind of weird sometimes, and I found something that gives me some doubts. Are you really from around here?
I'm half undiscovered science, a bunch of confusing biochemistry, and some crazy hormones.
You probably lie a lot.
I've actually never lied to you. Even I'm a mystery to myself. I have a medical condition that comes and goes, and it's a very long story.
I gotta make sure you're the kind of crazy I can deal with.
tell you who we met. The best. I think you could be the love of my life.
I don't think you're ready for where this is going.
Explain it to Love comes around a couple times if you're lucky. Life probably seems short no matter what.
And what you just heard there was the trailer for Spring, which, as we said, is the latest film from directors Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, which was written by Justin Benson and directed by the two of them, with cinematography by Aaron Moorhead as well. So I think that Chad and Sean have called it a night, so make sure that you go and check out their stuff. You can check out Sean over at horrorsexy.com and liberaldead.com, and he's on Twitter at theliberaldead, and Chad at horrormoviebarbecue.com and at horrormoviebbq, as he always says, which makes me laugh a lot. So anyhow, back to what we were talking about here. So Spring came out on VOD. It's one of those films that I've been kind of tracking for a little while, and if you couldn't tell by the trailer there, it's essentially about a young man who finds himself in Italy on kind of a vacation slash, I don't know, what would you call it, like a mental health break?
Yeah, mental health break, yeah.
And basically, he got some shit to Italy for no particular reason. I think just because someone was like, yo, you gotta go to Europe, son. And so he's like, should I go to Italy? But
he's like in the car, and he's like, white people like to go to Italy? And he's like, to Italy.
pretty much. But he goes there to kind of try to get away from life and things, and ends up meeting a girl. And there's some stuff that happens that's pretty crazy, but it's kind of a romance. I don't know if I'd call it a horror movie as much as it's definitely a genre film, but it's kind of one of those genre bending films, and it's like I said, Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson are the dudes who did Resolution, which I think you can watch on Netflix right now if you haven't seen it yet. And I highly recommend it. It was one of my favorites from a few years ago. I think maybe 2 years ago-ish, I think it came out. I don't know. I saw it at Film Festival, and I loved it. And quite frankly, I think they did a bang-up job with this movie, too. So there's a lot going on in the film, and I guess we'll kind of get into it. But
oh, yeah? You want to get into it?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Sorry, I had a malfunction.
Did you?
I was unrolling a poster I got, and something fell behind. The poster fell behind like a big thing, and I had to get behind the big thing, and it was more complex.
He's like, and then my dick accidentally came out.
It's a poster tube. What am I supposed to do with it? It's cylinder. It's almost a pocket pussy.
It's got the
I was
part.
gonna say he's gonna lubricate it up and have a good time.
It's got tape slick.
But no, we were just telling people about Spring and just kind of what it's about on a high level, and I don't really want to say too much more than that.
It's spring now, and it was winter, and it's Easter coming up.
Well, it came out on VOD and in theaters on the first day of spring because they're clever like that. So, so yeah, it is in limited theatrical. I did not see it in the theater. I'm assuming that we all saw it on VOD, or I don't know if James, if you happen to get like a screener for it, because I know they were sending around a couple of those.
See.
Yes. So okay. So yeah, I guess let's just start with talking about our opinions of it. So, James, do you wanna talk a little bit about it first?
Yes. So, where to start? I have a particularly just emotional connection to this one. For whatever reason, the opening felt very downtrodden, and I was kind of like, I let it build on me and build, and I kind of felt this emotional evolution through the film. It doesn't happen all that often, especially not for the type of movie it kind of is, at least in part. I fell in love with the characters, our two main characters. Um, and it was just a pretty movie. I thought it was very beautiful. I don't often say that about, movies, that they're just pretty, but it was pretty. And it was almost existential, or I don't know, like I felt like I was watching Richard Linklater does a monster movie, but it isn't in France, it's in Italy.
Right. That's actually like the way it was described to me by some people before I saw it was that they were like, this is like Richard Linklater's before movies if they were mixed with H.P. Lovecraft. And I was
that's in my head, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Accurate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely that. And then when I was watching it, I kept thinking moments of, like waking life, where there's this discussions and suddenly things just happen, and there's like points in the conversation where things happen that accentuate the point, and that's a far cry, because I think the before, the reference to the before movies is much better. But yeah, I mean, this the basic story is it's a love story, a man falling in love with a woman, quotation marks, I guess, or not, and I fell for her too. And so that's good, and I sympathized for him in all the right ways when you should feel sympathy for him. I didn't feel like he was a whiny bitch, which often happens in that role when people play the role he was. So I ended up very able to identify with the characters, felt very good about it. Love the effects, soundscapes, everything was good.
Yeah, so how did you feel about Resolution? Which, this is another thing I just want to mention real quick, is I keep hearing people call it The Resolution, and I'm like, it's not called The Resolution, because The Resolution is a completely different meaning than resolution.
Yes.
So
Resolution was good. I am not as much of a fan of that movie as I think you guys are. I know you and Sean found it particularly great. I did like it. I think it was one of those movies came around. We saw it around the time The Battery came out, as I recall. And
I saw it earlier than that. But
you did, yeah. Sean had passed it by me, and I said I didn't like The Battery all that much at first. It took me a second watch to really get it, and Resolution was the same way. It was like kind of like, what am I watching? What is this slow-ish kind of movie that isn't really doing much? And this didn't feel that way at all. This felt very lively and emotive, and it's almost an uncomfortable way for me to talk about a movie, because when you watch as much bullshit as I watch, and I strongly encourage you to, sometimes the stuff I don't review because I can't review it all because I don't want to talk so negatively about so many movies. I try to focus on the positive, but something like this, I don't see a lot of stuff like this where it's emotive. And I think the last one that I remember liking as much as this in this way was Plus One.
Yeah.
I think that movie also had that.
Good movie.
Yeah, I think that had a similar feel to me in that we have a relationship and we're just trying to make it work.
But I think that movie was way more fun, because that was definitely like you watch it and there's just like this fucking party vibe, like 80s sci-fi.
High energy movie, high energy, definitely.
Yeah, it kind of felt like a throwback, right?
This really is more like, watching people evolve.
Yeah, but you like it. You think people should check it out? You recommend it?
Yeah, and I think your typical horror audience isn't going to be the one who necessarily runs to its side to support it. But there's definitely, I think it's more for fans of the dark fantasy, people who, I'm trying to think of movies that might grab it. And this is going to be a real far stretch. People who watch Coraline, things of that type, where there's this dark, brooding thing happening, but all the time, you want to root for something, root for love, and root for that. That's really where you're gonna find your audience, not necessarily the hardcore horror fans.
Well, that's fair enough. I mean, because it's not a scary movie, right?
No. There's good moments. There's some good effects moments. It's not like somebody painted the thing with a computer, which was good. Yeah, and I struggle to find the right audience because it's like, who do I recommend this to? Like, I know people who I would recommend it to, but I couldn't stereotype them really.
Right.
I think if you like Guillermo del Toro's, horror, dark fantasy stuff, not so much the comic booky stuff, but the horror, dark fantasy stuff, you probably will enjoy this as well.
Fair enough. So, Jesse?
Yeah. I really, really liked this movie. For me, it was a sudden connection with the film because a lot of the things that the character goes through, it's almost like beat for beat what I went through. So there was like an immediate appeal to it for me. And
I
then
think your description was what? This is Jesse the movie?
kinda, yeah. I was like, and outside of it representing some points in my life, I liked its presentation of its story and its material quite well. It did it in the best way possible. That's why I like the Babadook so much, is that it takes everything else is used as a foil to kind of make this story about either real life problems or concepts, and this movie does that well, right? It's about relationships, and it's about hiding things from people and secrets and all that stuff, and I think the way they go about it is really creepy and effective, personally. And it's one of those movies that you can watch it, like if they were to cut out all the weird stuff, it would still be a really watchable movie because the chemistry between the two leads is quite great to check out, and I think they bounce off each other really well. And for me, I think the location works too, right? Like I really fell in love with where they were.
You just want to go there, right? Like you
yeah.
want to be. Yeah, I want to do that little dining area at one point. Remember? Dude, I want there. I was like, I'm there. I want to find that place.
I just want to work for an old farmer, and hang out with him, and he's all about his old lady, and like I don't know, I thought it was just very beautiful and weird and dark. And the final moment of the film is it's very emotionally effective, I thought, and I think they're able to pull it off. And the score is great, and the cinematography is great, and the acting is great, and it's just a very special, unique movie that I really hope more people are able to see, and hopefully with Draft House, publishing it, distributing it, more people will get that chance. But yeah. It's awesome.
I mean, right now it's easy to see because you can just get it on VOD, so that's
right.
not an issue.
And they're showing it. They're showing it in their theaters, which is is like 6 theaters, but they'll be distributed
there. But you can even buy it at this point for I think $15. So
you can go on BitTorrent and buy it from them, I think. Right.
Well, you can do that, and you can also purchase it on Vudu and Amazon, I think as well. But if you get the bundle on BitTorrent that they had, which I think is only
Jeff?
Of the movie that you can, and I'm talking about this is you can purchase it, not like BitTorrent pirate stuff.
Right.
This is just because it's a torrent, so it's sourced from all the other people who happen to have it, who are seeding it or whatever. But you get it there, and I think you get basically probably all the stuff that's going to be on
the special
the
features,
Blu-ray. Yeah. So it's you can get the Blu-ray early. But it's I agree with everything that you guys said. I think that, in my opinion, so as I said, I was a fan of Resolution, and I guess in a little bit of a way, I'm a little bit biased because I was rooting for this partially because I'm a fan of, but also I like those dudes. And I have to kind of put it out there that like if you go back and listen to some of our old stuff and you find from I think it was like Toronto After Dark, it was probably 2012. I think it was. God, it was like 3 years ago at this point almost. They were there with Resolution, and that's where I saw Resolution and had a chance to hang out with the filmmakers. And they're really good dudes, and they're really funny, and hung out with them over the course of several days and had a blast, and just really came away with a positive experience on that. And then when I heard that they were working on this movie, I got kind of excited. And when I heard that Jeremy Gardner from The Battery was going to be in it, I was excited as well. I mean, he's got a very small part, and then when I started to hear the kind of description about like H.P. Lovecraft type shit and monster movie romance, and I was like, this sounds like this could be good, because those dudes are pretty good at taking a non-traditional concept and making it work, right? With like a fairly low budget and being able to make things work. And I think that they do that here, like you guys were saying. I mean, the location is great. I fucking love the score, but I am a huge fan of the album Leaf. And basically, the dude Jimmy LaValle, who did the score, is the album Leaf. I think he was also in The Locust. I think he might have been the drummer, but I don't know. But either way, he's associated with that act, but he does a lot of ambient, like kind of droning, quote unquote, pretty quote unquote spacey music, and people might not know this, but I'm like totally into like the weird like spacey ambient music a lot, and I'm a fan of the album Leaf, and so this score was like awesome for me, because I'm just like, this is fucking just like really dreamy and electronic, you know what I mean? It just really works, and the characters are just really good. And it's not a spoiler, I don't think, to say that, I mean, basically this movie pulls a Guardians of the Galaxy. Almost the exact same thing, the way that it starts off. And I have personal connection to that type of situation. Very personal connection to that type of situation. So I was a little bit teared up right at the beginning of the movie. And some people might call that manipulative, but I say, does it really matter, right?
I wouldn't call it manipulative. I think it very much adds to his wanting and desire to move, and
that's what I'm saying. Like, some people will call it manipulative, but it just is basically a very effective way of setting up the reason for everything else. It's a way to set up the reason without having to do very much or say very much, so that 15 minutes into the movie, they're already getting into what's going to become the story, right? And as you were saying, I think that the leads are great in the movie. He gets over to Italy, and then he meets this girl, and there's just like the chemistry between the two of them is great. And I think the dude was played by Lou Taylor. I don't know if it's Pusey. He's the dude from the Evil Dead remake.
He's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in Carriers. He's in a bunch of stuff. Yeah, he's cool.
I mostly just recognize him as the long-haired teacher dude from Evil Dead remake.
Yeah, with the glasses.
Yep, he's good in that movie, but I think here he is very good. And looking and comparing him between the two, he almost looks like a completely different person. God, I don't remember her last name. It's like Nadia Hilker or something like that.
Yeah.
I think her name is, but she is just absolutely gorgeous, and she's a great actress, and she's got that crazy like European stuff going on, so that you really just believe that she is who she says she is, and she's able to pull off all of the stuff that she has to do. And there are some scenes.
I think she might.
What's that?
I was gonna say, I think she actually might be like German or Austrian and not Italian. But
well, probably. But when you get into the European stuff, it's like a lot of the languages. So
Yeah, it's a mishmash of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Unlike here, where we're just lucky if we can speak our own language.
Yeah, our own proper.
but you know, she's really good, and just the fact of the what kind of surprised me a little bit is, I mean, this is really a romance movie with some fantastic elements to it, but it really is kind of a romance drama movie, almost more so than it is a genre movie in a lot of ways. And I think that's what makes it work, is it's like you were saying, if you were to take out all of the supernatural type stuff, it's still a fucking good movie.
Like if you were to replace it with just like a drug addiction, you would still have an adequate, perfectly great movie, I think.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, is that it works as a metaphor for that, but it also just works as, and this is a huge credit to Justin Benson wrote the script, so there's just a huge credit to his ability to be able to write characters and do a good job. Now, there are a few things in there with just sense of humor type stuff, because it's not completely serious. There's some playful stuff and some stuff that's just outright funny. But, and especially if you've ever listened to any interviews with Justin and Aaron, you would know that you know, this is very much their sensibilities, and some people don't like it because they say that it's a little bit, sometimes the sense of humor becomes almost inappropriate at times. And I guess I can see that, but I don't agree with it, if that makes sense. Because I think that there's some parts where this movie is funny, and I think there's some stuff in here that is raised up, that is used in a joking manner, but I never felt that it betrayed any of the characters, and personally I don't think that there's any tonal issues with this film. And that's really the big thing, is this manages to squeeze in all of the stuff from a sci-fi horror movie in with kind of a romantic drama movie, along with, you know, just a good fucking movie overall. And I think that it's definitely something that people should watch, and it's doing pretty well. I guess on the iTunes charts and whatnot, it's up there with the horror category. I think it's the #1 horror movie on iTunes right now, and like the #1 or #2 romance movie, which, you know, I feel like you could watch this. This is like a good date movie almost.
Yeah,
I didn't
no, that
watch
works.
the date, but I feel like you could probably, like, if you're somebody who's not married and not living with a girl or whatever, and you want to, like, you got this girl that you're hanging out with, and you want to show her a movie, and maybe you watch genre movies, and you want to find a way to kind of introduce her to the fact that you watch these things and show her something new that she might not see, this would be a movie you could use. Because
What do you mean by show her something new that she might not see? Are you referring to the physical? Yeah,
well, that too. I mean, that might work too. I don't know. Maybe this movie will get you laid, but but I just meant more like, you don't necessarily have to be somebody who's into genre cinema in order to appreciate this movie. Like, my wife doesn't really give two craps about, like, horror movies and a lot of that other stuff. In fact, she questions a lot of times why I'm watching some of the things that I watch. But I feel like this movie, she would watch it and probably really like it. You know? It walks that line, and it does it well, and it never is too over the top, and it somehow manages to make it kind of like the reactions to what's happening are believable, and they address certain things, and when you get to the end, and the way that it ends is fairly abrupt, but it's very fitting, and it wraps up everything without having to be over dramatic. And it's never really over dramatic either.
No, it's never like cloying, or it's never really that
Melodramatic, right?
Yeah, melodramatic. It's always pretty straight. You know, it's hard to say it's straightforward, but it's pretty true to itself in that it's not really trying to mess with you. So, yeah, I appreciate that too, because there's plenty of those types of films that will want you to feel a certain thing at a certain time, but that movie doesn't really ask that of you. It really kind of complicates things sometimes for you too, because you at one point might expect pure revulsion, but that's not the case, and I don't know. It's an interesting movie in that sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I said, it's not all serious. There's the one scene I'm thinking of right offhand is probably the scene in the church that's...
Oh, right, yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was.
I kind of love that. But, overall, I think I kind of love this movie. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
it's
lie.
great.
Like,
It's great.
It's one of the best movies I think that I've seen this year.
Yep, same here.
I won't be surprised if this ends up in my top 10 at the end of the year.
Same.
To be fair.
Yep.
I mean, it's still early, right? But right now, it's definitely there, and I don't think it would be a shocker to have it in there at the end.
I've got 6 movies in the 5 or 6 movies running in my top 10 right now, and two of them probably had festival releases, so you may have actually come across them before, but it's already in there. It's definitely just a very strong emotional connection to this movie. I can't imagine it not hitting top 3. And I say that because I looked at what was coming out for the rest of the year, and I was like, well, it's going to be somewhere in the top 5 because it really had a strong connection to me, and not a whole lot of the rest of the year has anything like that.
Yeah,
barring a surprise.
And there's always those surprises because, quite frankly...
This was a surprise, actually, so...
Yeah, well, like I said, for me, this is one that I was really looking forward to because I've been following it since I first heard about it, but that's because I've been kind of paying attention to what these dudes are doing. And I think that, quite frankly, between the 2 movies these guys have under their belts, I'm super interested to see what they do next. I think that, Benson and Moorhead, or as Amazon Instant Video calls them, Jay Moorhead, which I made the joke about. I told them that they were officially a Hollywood power couple now because
awesome.
They've gone to just combining it. Although I did think it was a bit redundant that it's a film by Benson and Moorhead, and then it's directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. It's well, didn't you just say that? But they get a lot of credit. Because quite frankly, they do a lot on there. Like I said, Justin wrote it, Aaron shot it, and then they both directed it together. And quite frankly, all of those they used a drone, I guess, to do all of those overhead shots, which are fucking beautiful.
It's great, dude. The drone stuff is becoming very popular, and I just did a little project probably about a year ago with a buddy of mine, just doing a little proof of concept or whatever for a studio. And he puts his camera on this drone. He's like, check this out. And he flies it up over the building, and he's zooming it around. I'm like, man, that's really cool. I bet you get some really great stuff. I saw the final footage. It's really impressive. It really is a budget changer. You can do stuff.
You don't need a crane anymore. You don't need a fucking helicopter.
It's almost as smooth if you are very good with the drone. If you practice it and learn it, you can make it look very smooth.
And you gotta be careful of the wind and stuff. But yeah,
we almost
flew
the thing into a marquee and crashed it. That would have been very bad. It was obviously a very expensive drone. It was on, it was definitely borrowed, and it was friggin' gigantic.
But I would argue that they did a fucking great job here. Phenomenal. You can barely tell the goddamn difference between somebody being out with... Actually, I think it looks better than a helicopter shot because it's almost more steady. It's almost like what you would get if it was a helicopter crane in this film. And
it moves faster in a weird way. I don't know why, but it seems to move at the right speed almost.
But it's just that combination of that imagery and the music and just the way it feels, and you just see it and you're just man, that's a place I just want to go hang out. Minus everybody drinking wine, because I'm not really a big fan of wine, but apparently this movie is all about the wine.
It's Italy!
Pretty much.
Spaghetti!
But, it was filmed on location in Italy, and you can tell. It's fucking beautiful there.
It looks really good, yeah.
And I really liked a lot of the imagery that they used because obviously the theme of spring, rebirth, things like that.
Mhm.
And if you notice, like almost all of the transitions, they open a shot and they have something that's in like the foreground, and a lot of it is like nature
Yeah.
footage, like bugs, spiders,
Flowers.
worms, flowers, and they're doing their thing, and then it kind of like shifts the focus, and it works really well. And it's kind of gorgeous. So, I think these guys are talented. I think this movie's really good, and I have no reason to not highly recommend this to people, quite frankly.
You know why I would not recommend this to people?
Why?
Because I don't want them to act like assholes and try to ruin the movie for me. I don't want to, I don't want to have to actually defend this movie. I just want it to be, it's weird. There are movies that I don't talk about like that because I don't want to have to defend them.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to sit there and rip them apart for it being, I don't know, what I would want in a movie. And
there are boobs in this movie, though, and they're wonderful boobs.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not, they're not like.
You think it'll carry the movie for a guy who's looking for a gore monster fest?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But I think if you're open-minded and you're a fan of monster movies, then maybe you'll watch this and like it. I could see where some people.
This is the internet.
Well, yeah, and the biggest argument that these people are going to make is that it's boring.
Yep.
But I mean, my argument back is like, okay, well then apparently you just don't like movies with good characters. Like, I mean, I was not bored at all. This movie's almost 2 hours long, and it flew by for me.
Yeah, it's really compelling to watch because of not only the fight that the characters are kind of going through, but also that it moves along at a very good pace, and you do care about these people, which is stuff I like to see in movies because I tend to like good movies. So.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is if you have good characters, or at least people that you care about, people that you like, and I think that they're extremely likable characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in both cases, like you both, for both of the characters, you feel, I don't want to say you feel bad for them, but you feel like you understand what they are going through, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want them to be able to overcome, I guess, whatever problems. And honestly, like, you just want to see these two people together because you're just like, you two are just adorable together,
mm-hmm.
and you just need to be together. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, there's a lot more reason behind it too. It's not just like, oh, hey, you just want Richard Gere to end up with Julia Roberts because they're cute and funny together. It's more just like.
There's nothing wrong with that, Jeff.
Yeah, at one point in this movie, they do something that's frowned upon, which is they start, like, one of the characters basically exposes an entire part of their backstory, like, bluntly. You know what I mean? Like, they give you, like, a dialogue, as in, oh, we couldn't reveal that in some other way. And I hear this frowned upon because, you just sit there and you, like, just divulge the whole thing in one bit. It's like...
You're talking about the Deus Ex Machina? Or whatever, which is just like, hey, I'm just going to explain to you, like...
Yeah.
Here's
going to explain everything. Yeah, here's everything. And it's like, oh.
Information.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. And it was kind of toward the end. And the way that they handled that situation, the quote-unquote origin of everything, I thought it was like, wow. Like, I want more. Like, I felt like I was watching a really good, like, almost like a documentary on something that was real. And I was like, oh, yeah, I want to know more. Yeah, tell me more. Give me the history. Give me everything. I want to, like, know, like, the little itty-bitty pieces. And I don't want to, I'm dancing around it because I don't want to divulge it all.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I felt like, wow, I've never felt like I just got so much information all at once and it felt so appropriate.
Well, and that's how you work with a budget, right? Like, we talk about, like, the best movies. Even when we're talking about, like, John Carpenter's films, we were talking about why Halloween is great and why other things are great. Well, it's because they were working within the budgetary constraints that they had. And that's very much here too, right? So in order to, I mean, if this is a big Hollywood movie, they would find some way to put that all up on screen. We don't need to see it, right? Like, we've seen enough. We know something's going on. We have a good idea of some of what's going on, and just to hear that, it's believable in the world that the movie's in, based on what we've already seen. All we need to do is hear that, and just because of the strength of the actors who are delivering the dialogue and the information, and, you know, based on the way that it's written, it works.
That's true.
I have a big problem. My problem is more like when it's something like what The Walking Dead is notorious for, right? Which is, hey, we're going to kill off this person, and we need you to care about this person in order for this to be a big deal. And so therefore, we haven't done very much for this person, so about 30 minutes before we kill them, we're going to suddenly explain all of their backstory in an attempt to try and make you care. That I have a problem with. But I think by the point in time that they get to what you were talking about in this film, we already care about the characters. This is more of just an explanation, which in the case of the situation in the film makes sense. Right? Because I don't want to get too into depth on it because I don't want to spoil anything, but because
I think you're right. I think it works for that reason. I think
because of the time frame that you're dealing with, there's no other logical way to do it besides flashbacks, which would just be corny.
And that's you were saying, like, they could do that with a big budget and they would ruin it. It would be ruined, and I could see that. And the whole time I'm like, oh man, don't do it, and they didn't, and I was like, it felt weird that they didn't. Right? Because, like, today that's what we like to do. And we like to do it with a lot of computer graphics because that makes it cheap.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, okay, here's your backstory. Okay, now we didn't have to worry about any of those effects paying all those actors. Good.
Newspaper clippings.
Yep. Oh, newspaper clippings. That's another way you can do it.
That's the worst. It's the worst.
Reading a journal.
Yes,
well, that's different.
Which one did it well?
Rec.
Oh, right, yeah.
Rec and Rec 2. Minus your thoughts on the monkeys in Rec 4.
Shockma.
Shockma.
Unless we're talking about Shockma, I don't think we talk about Rec 4 ever again.
Oh, shots fired.
I had fun, but whatever. We're not talking about that. We're not going to argue about Rec 4.
Emotional investment in that movie that did not pay off.
Right.
Like I wanted to.
Like none. This movie is definitely a lot more emotionally investing.
Yeah.
I feel strong. I feel heart for this movie.
Yeah, no, it's good. Like, I just, I watched it. Honestly, I just finished it earlier today. I didn't get to watch the whole thing in one sitting, but it's good. Like, I'm definitely gonna watch this again. I'm gonna pick up the Blu-ray when it comes out because I thought about actually just purchasing the digital version, and then I was like, I'd rather just save my money for the Blu-ray.
Yeah, because unless you're like using Plex or something to like your PS3 or 4 or whatever, it's hard to watch on your TV, right?
No, not for me. I have a device that's basically has all the encoders, so you just put the stuff on like a hard drive and plug it in.
Okay.
And you can watch the video files on it, so and it comes out in like perfect quality, like it depending on what the encode is for the bit rate and resolution and everything. No pun intended. It comes out like perfect quality, but it's definitely something that I want to own on disc. I want the extras. I want to listen to the commentary that they will no doubtedly have on it, because these dudes are fucking hilarious guys to listen to begin with. They have on the Resolution Blu-ray, there is a commentary track by the dog. Like, they're just completely interesting guys, and they find ways to do things, and I just love the fact that they used a lot of the guys from Resolution, like Vinny, who plays the bearded like drug addict guy in Resolution, is the bartender in this movie at the beginning, and he's a trip. But they got Jeremy Gardner, who's from The Battery, who they knew because of film festival type stuff, and they just used a lot of people, and they used them appropriately because Jeremy Gardner was pretty great in this movie too. Like that guy should be in more movies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I guess people could make the argument that he's kind of a one-note character, but he's really good at playing that drunk dude who still manages to make you care.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And just everything about the way that they set the movie up and the way that they give this guy a reason to want to leave, like, it's perfect. It works. You don't question it for a second. You're like, yeah, I'd get the fuck out of there too. And it's, you know, you don't want to fucking live in that area. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on, like, with what just happened in your life, you need to go somewhere. And, yeah, it works. I don't know. High scores from me. Like, honestly, probably like definitely an 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a 9. I'm struggling between a 9 and a 10, but it's not perfect, but it's really fucking good. But no movie's really perfect, I don't know. So
It's about how you feel, man.
it really is. It's about all the feels.
Mm.
The only thing that could make this movie more feely for me would be if Anna Kendrick just showed up.
Started singing.
And then my heart would just melt. And I would be like, okay, this is my favorite movie ever. But, you know, aside from that, I think people should check it out. And I think you should go rent it, purchase it, do whatever you have to do. If it's playing in a theater, go see it, because I'd love to see this on the big screen. I'm kind of bummed that I missed it, but it played Toronto International Film Festival last year, so there was no way that it was going to play at the festival that I usually go to out there. And it did do the festival rounds and came out to, like, Ithaca around here, but I just couldn't make it out to Ithaca to see it. So I'm looking forward to whatever these guys do next. I have no idea what it is. But apparently this movie's doing well, and I think, you know, again, support independent genre cinema, and support good independent genre cinema.
Yeah.
Especially. You know, I mean, this is not the kind of movie that I, like, you know, if we got more movies that were like this, that's not a bad thing. So,
It's a very, very good thing.
yeah, it just really is, because it is a good movie first and foremost, and it just happens to have some creepy-ish stuff in it at some points. And there was actually one jump scare in the movie that worked pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And without really getting into that, I mean, it's kind of towards the end. At one point when he's talking to her about something, and then something happens. So maybe you guys know what I'm talking about, but it's a very quick thing. And it just happens, and it just was like, oh shit, what the fuck? And it worked for me, and that's very rare. It's funny because there was 2 movies that I can think of in the last at least couple of years that actually made me physically react while I was watching them. One of them was It Follows last night, and the other one was this. So there you go. It's tough because I can usually see these things coming from a mile away, and I'm completely ready for it, so therefore I'm just like, oh yeah, that thing's going to pop out and do this. But when the movie just gets you, like, so into what's going on and you just forget about that shit and you're not thinking about it, it's like magic. And it worked in this movie, so yeah, I don't know, that's my final recommendation. You guys got any other last words you want to say on? Do we want to talk about spoilers or anything like that on this?
I don't have anything really spoilery to say about it, because I don't know. Just go see it. Go watch it.
Yep. Watch this. And watch It Follows.
Yeah.
And then you're good. You know what? You got a lot to live up to then, I think.
Yeah. It's kind of a good, like, it's kind of crazy because it's like it's like the same day these movies came out together, and it's like, Jesus. Like,
I think I'm gonna forever kind of pair them together now. You know what I mean? Like, just think about them in together. I think of and I don't know that, like I said, with Resolution and The Battery, I think of them together.
Well, it's kind of funny because they both have really good scores. They both have like really good cinematography. They both have like characters that you give a shit about. They both have their moments. I mean, It Follows is definitely creepier, but
This is more emotive in some ways. This is
Yeah.
more. This is the loving side.
well, that's the thing. It's not scary. Like, but again, I even say like I saw It Follows and I was like, this movie's not that scary. And then like later on though, when I'm like in my basement, like getting ready to come upstairs, and I have to turn off all the fucking lights and walk up to the top of the stairs alone in the complete pitch black darkness, I was like, oh fuck.
You don't want some grandma walking through the window.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ. Old lady pissing on herself. Fucked up teeth. Like, oh. We're going to talk next week, and I'm going to have to work through some issues because Jesus fucking Christ. It's one of those things, man, that movie.
I'm gonna try to see it again before next week. If I can.
Yeah, I think I'm going to because I don't know. That is a different type of movie, but this particular movie I will definitely watch again because I just want to go back and rewatch it and see if there's other stuff that maybe I missed that was happening. But it's it's just all around, like just about everybody in this movie who you're supposed to care about, you care about. Except for the douchebag American guys who show up and kind of get what is coming to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll kind of leave it at that, right? That one dude. That was probably the worst. Well, that was kind of like the worst part of dialogue in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, you could tell what was going to happen from the minute that dude saw them at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, those guys are, they're obviously fucked. Right? And he's like, we're not all like them. I was like, all right. But yeah, no, it's a fucking great movie, so go watch it. I don't know. I don't have anything else, so I think that's it for tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think the moral of the story is go and watch Spring, check it out, purchase it, rent it, go to the theater and see it.
Watch Spring Breakers too.
Watch Spring Breakers as well because that's it's not as emotional as this.
No.
But it's got bikinis and Britney
It's got style.
Spears
It's got dubstep. Yeah, it's pretty great.
and lots of dubstep.
Yeah.
Lots of booties.
And a great Britney Spears cover.
Yeah. Dude, that fucking movie still, like, that was like almost my #1 movie of that year.
It's so good.
For most of the year.
Every time I try and I fall.
Well, the fucked up thing is it's so fucking good, but it's like a giant troll.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And so it shouldn't be good, but it's awesome. So yeah, so I don't know, that's it. Check it out. Go do that shit. And with that being said, James, you want to tell people where they can find you on the internet?
You find me at let's go horrorsexy.com. That's where we have a project that we have a bunch of people who all contribute to this giant meat grinder of a site where voices of writers can be heard, and sometimes it's hot.
Dicks with chicks.
Mm-hmm.
Chicks, dicks, licks, flicks. There we go. And it's fun. We're having a lot of fun with that, and everyone's doing a great job, and hopefully we'll have some more stuff soon with that. And docterror.com is still my home blog. It's still where I write my stuff, my reviews.
Rondo Award nominated Doc Terror.
Yeah, you gotta put that on the top of the page now.
I gotta make it official.
Put a ring on it, bitch.
Yeah.
A cock ring.
Oh, Johnny Cock ring.
Mm-hmm.
Vibrating Johnny cock ring. And also at Dr. Horror Sexy on Twitter.
All right, Jesse. Jesse.
Twitter at Destroy Superman. My Medium page can be found through my Twitter bio. And my stuff also shows up on Horror Sexy sometimes when Vampire's Kiss comes out.
That was so good. It was so good. So good.
And I am on Twitter at Jeff_FOTD. You can find me there for now. Like I said, we do this show on Friday nights. You can find us at airpodcast.net/live. Fridays around 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. You can also check out back episodes, deadairpodcast.net, and I have my blog up at genrewatch.com. Although I think deadairpodcast.net is going to kind of become the new space for everything once I get some time. And yes, there will be more stuff coming, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Other than that, I'm on Facebook if you want to find me, and I'm on Instagram at deadairjeff, which may become my new Twitter handle. I don't know. We'll see. So that's all up there. We'll be back in a week to talk about It Follows. So we will be reviewing that. So if you have not seen it, go watch it. Enjoy it. Hate it. I don't really give a fuck, but if you're going to contribute, like at least be able to contribute to the conversation. Don't just comment on it. And make sure that you at least check it out. Go support it. And we will definitely have a discussion, which I think will be interesting because, number one, I'm interested to see what Chad is going to say about it. I kind of already know what James feels about it, and I want to hear what Jesse's complicated emotional issues are.
So complicated. It can't be simple with me.
You're a complicated man.
I know.
A complicated man, Jesse.
So many emotions.
So I wanna check out all that and discuss it. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a fun time. So make sure you come back and check that out. And until then, keep your dick wet.
Asshole. Yeah.
Guard your asshole. Go to Italy. Have vacation.
With strange Italian.
Hook up with hot Italian women.
Creature women.
Creature women. The creature from the Black Lapoon. And don't fucking die. Boys.
Alright, guys.
Just us, so.
Good times.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
You'll be back next week? Or?
I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back.
Well, I know you will. I'm talking to James.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's Good Friday. That doesn't necessarily disqualify me. I should be.
Sweet. Yeah, I want to talk about that shit.
Yeah, no, I like that one.
Talk about that shit.
Good feelings, good vibes. I'm waiting for the post weekend. Everyone's gonna shit all over it though. Last time somebody shit all over a movie, I just hid everyone from my Facebook feed that I didn't like. I started just going. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like not defriending, just hiding them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. It's definitely like, I'll be honest, when I left, it was one of those movies when I left the theater, I was like, alright, that was good, but it wasn't, like, scary, and then I get home, and I got, like, some time, and then I'm, like, thinking about the shit, and I'm like, it's just so fucking creepy, because they just show up, and they're just walking towards you. Who does that?
No, it scared me. I don't know why. I was sitting dude, I watched a screener link of it, and it killed me, and I was like, I really wish I had more time to get out to the theater to enjoy this movie. And if I can pull it off, I will. I'll go see it this weekend. I'm really hoping I can fit it in. It's just been crazy. crazy.
Yeah. Dude, that chick with the P.
Yeah. You know what was the one that got me? Oh, that scene, the door scene right after that, where she's up in the room, she's run upstairs, and now she's in the room, and they open the door, and everything seems fine, and suddenly big giant thing starts coming through, and you're like, what the? Like, I didn't see it coming, you know?
Giant dude with the fucking like eyeshadow on.
I didn't see it.
They all look like they were like kind of dead.
Yep.
Like, and they were all, there was just like, that's the one thing that got me, because they were like, oh, well, they could just look like anybody, and I'm like, well, not really, because they all look kind of fucked up.
I think it was, one of the things I was thinking about the whole thing was that it was important to have two people who both were had the same condition, so that you could verify that two people, one person could sleep, the other person could see that. Because if you only have if you have one person who has it, one person who doesn't, how would the person who doesn't know what's happening during the sleep period?
Well, yeah, it was weird, because it was like, I mean, they laid out the rules, and I guess they did a good job of doing that, because they just fucking were straight up like, that's another information dump that worked.
Yep. Again, it was fine.
Yeah, they dumped it in the movie. The guy's just like, all right, here's the fucking rules. And you're like, oh, okay, now there's no question about this shit. But they still took it and turned it around, because it's like, oh, wait a minute. Like, they can't see the thing, but they can see the doorknob turning. You know what I mean?
Right.
They can see that shit. They can see all the other fucking shit. They can see, like, all these other pieces, but they just can't see the actual thing. And then when they, like, we're going to set up that thing where they're like, oh, we're just going to throw toasters in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Then it's all fucked up, because it's like, it's her dad and shit. And like, everyone's talking about it, like, oh, STD and AIDS. And it's like, actually, it's I guess it's supposed to be about, like, sexual trauma. More so than that, and I don't know.
I really thought, I was really like, at first, the thing I ended my review with was, you know what? It's, yeah, I thought it was like STDs or whatever, and I said, you know, Night of the Living Dead had all these racial implications, too, these racial overtones that were really important. And I said, I don't care about any of that either, so I don't want to know. I just enjoyed the movie.
Well, it was pretty good that they set it in Detroit, too, though.
Yes.
Like, that setting worked. Like, it was just like, Jesus.
Dark.
Even more, like, what was also fucked up was they went back to that house, and then they're looking up there, and that dude's got the porno mags and all of the used Kleenexes.
I couldn't place the year at first, except for the cars.
Well, they did that, I think, on purpose, except for, like, people have cell phones, and that one chick had the weird, like,
that's the thing. The one girl's got the TV with the rabbit ears, and I'm like, what would that even do?
Yeah, exactly. But that dude was like hiding out in that. He's like, I'm gonna go hide out in this house from this thing, and whack off to these magazines. Because there was like Kleenex all over him, and then when the one dude's flipping through the porno mags, he just like pushed the Kleenex aside, and I'm like, you just touched that dude's G.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. But no, the thing that fucking got me though was that closet scene. She's going from the closet. You know what I'm talking about?
Closet.
They're in that dude's house, like where he was staying under the fake name, where he was hiding while he was basically just trying to go.
And she like she punches that sheetrock or whatever it is.
Yeah, that chick just like busts through.
Oh yeah, yep.
Like that fucking got me. I literally like fucking physically reacted to it. Like that never happens, and I was just like, fuck. Somehow that worked for me. The rest of the stuff was all more of the fucking creepy, like slow burn. Like not even slow burn, but like smoldering shit. Where it's like it's not scary when you see it, but then afterwards you're just like walking and you're like fucking looking around to make sure that there's not somebody else like following you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in a fucking dark parking lot at like 12:30 in the goddamn morning. That's what happened to me, and then I was down in my basement, and I had to turn off all the lights and walk upstairs. And I'm like, fuck, I can't see shit. And I'm just like, all I could get in my fucking head was that fucked up chick who's walking around in her kitchen with that piss. And they're like close up on the piss running down her leg. I was like, why? Like, why? Like, who came up with that? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Seriously? Like, that chick's got messed up teeth and she looks fucked up. Because all these people look like they put on weird raccoon eyeshadow.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, is like, I watched it and I was like, this isn't scary, but then it's like, no, it's not scary, it's creepy.
That score is so good, man.
I think the score is the scariest part of the goddamn movie, but
And you got to remember, I didn't watch it in like a theater, but I wish I had. And the other thing that was good, like, I had to keep turning down my TV because those bass notes would hit, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna wake up the entire house.
So did they give you, was it like an online screener then?
Yeah, it was like a link, and like, you know, I'll take what I can get at this point. Just getting out can be kind of difficult, but
I'm surprised that I was gonna say, like, I'm surprised that they sent that out, considering what they were doing with this one.
no, they did it like so it's like one of the proprietary links where you have to go through their software and it labels your shit 5 different ways. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, they label it across the screen, and it's got your email address, and it's got your code, and it's got the timestamp. So, but I was able to, I ran it through my TV